But hey, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent AS Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Victim of a slip and fall? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar and Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Mark Anajar, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Does your digital marketing work? Not sure? Would you like to be? Then reach out to CMG Local Solutions. At CMG Local Solutions, we help you find new customers with a suite of powerful digital marketing services, including search, targeted display, video, and analytics. In fact, we're a Google Premier partner, an honor given only to their top marketing partners. So if you want results you can actually measure, both on the web and on your bottom line, we can give them to you. Learn more about how we can help you at cmglocalsolutions.com.
Tired of casting a wide net with digital marketing and no luck? Well, you can reel in the exact customers you want with Exact Match from Cox Media Group Local Solutions Jacksonville. April Davis here. Exact Match helps you market across social media, search engines, display ads. With Exact Match, hook the exact people searching for precisely what you have to offer. Exact Match from cmglocalsolutions.com, cmglocalsolutions.com, or call us at 904-293-1989.
Denise is a Pilates instructor and a small business owner who built her own studio, so I guess that means she's kind of a real estate mogul too.
And don't forget, a mom as well.
And that community first, we get that, and we get you. We're here to help you live your best life by providing the financial services you need with low fees, convenience, and local decision making.
So just be yourself.
At Community First and on the go. Learn more at communityfirstfl.org. Member NCUA.
Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned is fighting inflation and saving you even more. That pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla you want to buy, it's not $1,000 down. Now it's just $500 down and $288 a month. Or you choose a pre-owned 2020 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma, now just $500 down and $388 a month. With over 400 used cars in stock, plus more than 100 vehicles under $18K, Arlington's fighting inflation and saving you big time. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/offers for full details.
Skip the hassle of constant cleaning and costly repairs and sell your home stress-free with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry, so you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. One of our clients, Rachel, said, Mark Spain Real Estate is the best. They were professional, easy to work with, and very knowledgeable. Their guaranteed offer was more than I expected, and selling my home was such a breeze. Don't worry about the hassle of constant cleaning and making costly repairs. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. I've been in business for nearly 30 years and have served over 50,000 satisfied clients. And I know what matters most, a quick sale and maximum profit. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Sell your home fast with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Certain restrictions apply.
Your Jacksonville Sharks are in the playoffs. Fans, pack the tank and give them the strength to fight for victory to the championship game. Get your tickets today. Call 904-621-0700, 621-0700, or jacksharks.com. Fins up.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Pete Thamel reports Oregon and Washington are finalizing a deal to join the Big Ten next summer. A Big Ten vote on that move could come tonight. Thamel also reports Arizona will join the Big 12, although that deal is not finalized yet. Will the Pac-12 survive all this? ESPN's Adam Rittenberg.
There's going to be more meetings. There's going to be more discussions. There's negotiations going on. Maybe between some schools and multiple leagues in the case of a school like Oregon. And then we'll see where this thing shakes out and how long it takes to reach some type of resolution.
The Big 12 is also ramping up talks with Arizona State and Utah. Saints running back Alvin Kamara and Colts cornerback Chris Lammons each get 3-game suspensions for their part in a fight outside a Las Vegas nightclub last year on the night before the Pro Bowl. Adam also reports Saints defensive end Cameron Jordan will sign a 2-year, $27.5 million extension. His contract will now run through the 2025 NFL season.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kurtz. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Aaron Schachter pumping us up before the show. Like, that's,
you don't like that?
No, I like it. I'm not sure I would have predicted it.
It's Friday.
Prior to meeting you for an extended amount of time now.
I was probably up later than all of you guys last night. Up earlier than all you guys this morning.
Ain't no way, dog.
The stunner will be if Kasey starts pumping us up and giving us the pregame.
It's not going to happen.
Routine. Can you be our Roy Miller before the huddle, before the show? Get us all going.
Right, you're all right?
Lewis. Am I all right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
You sound like you have Tuesday energy right now. I'm going to need you to pump it up a little bit.
Let's go.
There it is.
It's raining out.
I need you to be my Chris Streveler right now.
Hey. Can I be your Zach Wilson?
He didn't do too bad last night.
Oh, renewed faith.
He didn't do too bad.
The recovery begins.
Tell you what, I lost my mind when he threw that pass. We were on stream opening some cards. I said, "Oh, Zach, look at him. He's back.
He's back."
I swear I said it.
He's back.
What time did you work till, Kasey?
About 4.
4?
Yeah. We were busy last night.
What is that, the West Coast crowd or the international crowd?
Nah, so...
He's talking to folks in Japan about football cards?
Maybe a little bit of both. When you got all them boxes in one thing, it took like 2 hours to rip. And then we had to, package it.
For those who don't know, Kasey works for a local card store.
This is true.
And you do these breaks online on social media where you guys open up packs of cards.
TikTok.
It's an awesome job for you because it's like your favorite thing in the world to do, and now you get to do it, and someone pays you to do it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig.
This used to be your favorite thing to do, just didn't get paid as much as you want.
I don't get paid here. Like that's the big
volunteer basis.
That's the big problem. I'm maxing out volunteer hours though, boy. If I could go back to high school, I'd be killing it.
The other part of that to meet the community service hours is you'd have to have the grades. To get that full bright futures for you.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Trust me, we're in the middle of all that right now. We know how that works.
Well, maybe Ty wants to work here. Get some volunteer hours.
Get some volunteer hours.
But you're working until 4?
4 a.m., dog.
Man, that's good. That's all right for you, though. I got a feeling that's all right for you.
Yeah.
He doesn't return text till 1 o'clock in the afternoon anyway.
Yeah, but then I'm sitting there texting him at like 5:45 in the morning.
That's true. Yeah, I haven't been to bed yet at this point. I'm like, oh.
I got a couple of those this morning.
Yeah.
Here's the guy that's dressed as a dog. Cool.
I spread the wealth.
Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz. Hope you're doing well on a Friday. Jags had the day off, and they are almost out of cards to play when it comes to pass rush help.
Oh, a little segue.
Nice.
The Yannick Ngakoue going to the Chicago Bears. There's some talk like Chicago people want Justin Houston to go there too, but Houston appears to be the only name left. Am I missing someone?
That's pretty much
Everybody
it.
else been scooped up in terms of the we want that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe Melvin Ingram.
I mean, there are big names. I mean, Kareem Hunt is still kind of flying around out there. Dalvin Cook is still out there. Oh, pass rusher.
Yeah,
okay.
we got 15 running backs.
I thought you meant, are there any big names left out there?
No, those guys are still there too. But from a pass rush standpoint, it feels like, oh no, The Jags are letting everybody go.
Don't you feel like if they were interested in Jan, that would have kind of taken place by now?
Well, I think they were interested in Jan, and Jan was interested in them at
Not
some
at
point.
$10.5 million.
But not at $10.5 million, $10 million guaranteed, and also Jan to his, and this is fine, by the way, want a decent amount of money, wanted playing time. The biggest mystery continues around Jan, and maybe it's not like a mystery, but he's going to be one and done with Chicago too, most likely.
Yeah, that's a one-year deal.
This dude's going to play for like 7 teams in his first 6-7 years.
This guy's going to be a legend on the Immaculate Grid, boy. They're going to write stories about Jan. Tell you what. He's the Edwin Jackson of
Mr.
football.
Immaculate Grid, yeah.
That's a great call. Like, who is that? Like, is it Robert Horry or something in basketball? Did he play for a ton?
Theo Ratliff got to a point in his career, I think after he got like 32, 33 years old, his contract, not even his play, his contract was traded for the next 7 years. He never played. He joined 6 teams via contract.
Yeah. Baseball, there's the Edwin Jacksons, the Charlie Mortons of the world that played for everybody. I guess Chase Daniel would be a solid option on the Immaculate Grid. He backed up everybody.
Fitzpatrick. He
Yeah.
played on like
actually, Fitzpatrick's a good one. Yeah,
one.
he's the best one. He's the best one. Or at least that like really rings a bell where you can name the places he's been, obviously from the quarterback position. So do you feel like the Jags missed out on something here with Jan going to Chicago? Like, do you feel like, man, they let another one get away? Or are we just unsatisfied with what the Jags have that you just feel better if they're here? Almost to the Evan Ingram point, right? Like, do you feel better if he's extended rather than – we knew he was going to be here, but he's extended. It almost just makes everything feel cleaner. Right now, we still have a big group of folks out there that watch the Jags daily and root for the Jags that are concerned about this pass rush. And Jan would have – here's what I said about Jan. Jan would have won you a football game.
Mm-hmm.
Yannick Ngakoue would win you a football game. Now, he might do some – and I think in the role that they would have liked to play him, they probably would avoid him kind of losing you some plays and things like that, if any of his deficiencies. But the guy will close out a game for you in a 17-game season. Like, I'm convinced he will do that. He'll get a strip sack fumble at the end of a game, and it seals the deal. Like, that's winning you a football game, and I think he could do that. Outside of that, like, I'm not like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe they let Jan go. And I'm also not like, oh, please go get Justin Houston. I'm just not there with this football team yet, but I know a lot of other people are.
Yeah, I think it's unfair to say right now that the Jags missed out on something. You got to at least give the defense a little time to develop into the second season. But to your point, Brent, if that rumor that you claim is not being whispered into your ear comes to fruition and the Jags find themselves some point in October needing a player, they have the ability to do so. And there will be some available.
I just thought the interesting thing with Jan was you have the humans to not put him in a bad spot. You need to stop the run, traditional run downs. You have those guys that Jan doesn't have to be on the field. And if he's in your locker room, I think he's immediately your second best pass rusher. So they had at least the bodies and the people to rotate them in and out where you can kind of put Jan in where he's going to succeed and not put him in when they're probably going to run the football. But granted, for $10 million, you're not willing to take that risk because he's not out there enough.
Yeah, and again, I get each situation's different. I've told you guys this. I'm not as concerned about their pass rush as everybody else is, but I get it. Like, I get it. I understand it. I'm just more of a buyer in guys like Trayvon and the beefing up of the middle. Like, I think Foley Fatukasi's going to play way better than he did last year. I think we're going to get more consistent play out of a guy like Roy Robertson Harris. I think Josh is going to have a big year. He's got every incentive to have a big year. So I like that. Now, I also understand the concern when you say, hey, Brent, who's your third pass rusher? Who's your third edge guy? Caleb on Chason, he's got 3 sacks in 3 years. Like, I get it. Like, that's not comforting.
Great.
That is not comforting. But they also drafted Abdullah. Jordan Smith drafted him a couple years ago. Like, they've got bodies that we just don't know. We really don't know. And Chason's going to get an opportunity that he really hasn't had in a while. One, because of injuries, but two, because of just they're going to give him reps at this point. They need somebody else to take the Arden Key kind of reps. And then I'll throw one more in. Obviously, you got Smoot, and we think Devin Lloyd may blitz a little bit more and pick up some things.
I guess I was going to ask, are there other guys who aren't traditional ends or outside linebackers who will be tasked with chasing the quarterback? Do you even think they'll step up Rayshon Jenkins back there a little bit?
Yeah, they might do a little more blitzing. Like, it's an aggressive defensive scheme. Mike Caldwell's scheme is aggressive. Like the way he wants to play it, the way they played it in Tampa when it was very good for a couple of years, and that's where he came from. And so, yeah, I think you'll see guys off from Cisco to Jenkins. Like, you'll see that. Now, you can't count on that on like you're talking four-man rush type of situations and things like that. You can diagnose some things. You can force some things all the time, and that's not as much personnel as it is did you make the right call. Like Rayshon Jenkins, forced fumble against Tennessee. It was a beautiful call. I mean, Mike Caldwell made the right call in the right spot, and it worked. Mm-hmm. Like, that was terrific. And so you'll get that. You'll get some wins with that. You'll get some losses with that. But they either need to be super top-heavy with Trayvon and Josh, or they need a bunch of guys to get 3 to 4 to 5 sacks. And maybe not 5, but 3 to 4 sacks even, to start adding up and impacting play. And they are counting on a group that's really unproven. There's a lot of those guys that are unproven, including Trayvon Walker.
I guess the part that's just annoying about it is you could have had a scenario, again, if you're willing to pay the money, on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, where you have Jan, Josh Allen, and Trayvon all on the field at the same time.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. And by the way, I think the Jags saw a little bit of that, Kasey. I think it's kind of like Calais.
Yeah.
It was a lot like Calais' situation. Like, he came in here, and it was like, okay, here's what we think. I'm just being honest. Here's our role, right? I get a better role somewhere else. Man, he did. Yeah. And so did Jan. So, like, that's just the game sometimes. I do still think in my back pocket is that trade piece, like you mentioned, Aaron. But you also don't want to put yourself in a corner where you have to use that piece.
No, you'd love to see them not have to make any moves.
Absolutely. And that's because people are staying healthy and people are producing. So I think this is a continuing thorn in the side of Jags fans. And I know we're out there with a lot of folks that cover the team, and they kind of can't believe it. Like, there's a lot of people that are stunned that cover the team that they just have not made a move in that area, especially with cleaning up some of the cap space and the money that they have available. And maybe I'm a little naive here, but these are two dudes in a front office that have made a lot of good moves over the last couple of years. A lot.
Yeah, literally, as I saw Jan sign with the Bears, I said to myself, well, the Jags had an opportunity, chose not to. I kind of trust the decision.
Yeah, that's an interesting that is not something we're used to.
Yeah.
Right? We are not used to that around here. And I think they've earned that. I think, believe it or not, Trent Baalke's earned that assembling this offense, right? Drafting the 2021 draft, again, with Urban's help. But what they've done, it's not all right. But there's a lot going in the right direction so far with this rendition of the Jacksonville Jaguars front office. And I guess trust is a hard thing.
Yeah.
And you always think you can get better. And I understand what it looks like on paper. But again, they are not looking, I got to keep reminding folks, they are not looking at K'Lavon Chaisson in this instance as a first-round 20th overall pick like you are and like we are. They are not. This group is not. They're not tied to that. This isn't on them. And so if they do get decent play out of that spot, 4.5 sacks, that's what they've got to make up for Arden Key. I mean, Chaisson has to get 4.5 sacks. Now, he's got 3 in 3 years. But for Chaisson to do what Key did, and I'm sure there are some hidden things in there. It felt like it, right, with Arden Key. It's not an astronomical number, Kasey.
Right.
I mean, Abdullah could maybe do that for you.
You hope.
Yeah, I mean, you hope.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything. No, I mean,
that's another good one. All-time drop right there.
I don't know anything.
Got that one right now.
When it comes to that, like, we don't. How are we supposed to know? And that's where there's this blind.
I guess what I mean is you know considerably less about a guy like Yasir Abdullah than you do about K'Lavon Chaisson.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but not a lot less.
About 3 things less.
Not a lot. About 3 years less, but not a lot of evidence. So I do continue, and maybe to my own fault, kind of trust what they're doing a little bit here. And I do know also that I'll continue to pound this home that they've got to play in their back pocket. There's a thing called the trade deadline, and somebody's moving at the deadline. Like, people are going to be bad. Did you see that Arizona throw?
Yeah, I was just happy it wasn't Trey Lance at this point. Holy cow.
I mean, people are going to move. at the deadline.
I'll tell you what, go back to that Arizona play. Whoever was the end on that play, he blew it up. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Now,
I actually thought that's what I was waiting. I'm like, what are they going to get to here? Because it took forever.
I thought it did take a while. There's a lot of stuff at the line. They're talking about.
There's a play on Twitter, by the way, is what we're talking about with Arizona, and he basically
hit the DB in the back.
Who was the quarterback? Is that McCoy?
Yeah.
I think it's McCoy.
Hits the DB like in the back, not even close to the receiver.
I thought he was going to get lit up because the dude did blow up the play. So I think what happened is McCoy thought it was dead, and he just kind of, threw it. But at first, when I saw it progressing, I'm like, he's going to get whacked in practice. He's going to get lit up and on the concussion protocol in practice. It didn't happen.
I know we've done this quite a bit because I feel like in our almost 5 years now on ESPN 690, I've talked about Yannick Ngakoue about as much as anybody else in a 5-year span. I mean, we went like a whole year where it was a daily topic. Him and Jalen Ramsey felt like it was a daily topic.
Especially for someone who hasn't been here in 3 years.
I know it, but he's always bouncing around.
Sure.
And so this is a little bit repetitive in one sense, but it's still astonishing. The guy with 60-something career sacks already can't stay on a team. And he signs a 1-year deal, and it comes into August. And I think he's going to be on a different team next year.
And I also think there's a real possibility he has 10 sacks this year.
And he might do it again. I think there's a I'm signing up for 8, Kasey.
Yeah, 100%.
And he might have 10.
Doesn't he have that record? Most consecutive seasons with more than 8 sacks or more, something like that?
It's something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has to start a career, maybe something like that.
Maybe.
But it's just it isn't. You got to remind yourself. It's like, what is it? Again, he's not a bad dude. I think he's a bit unpredictable. He's got an unpredictable personality, like he really does. Like, being honest, but not like a detrimental, it's not something that jumps out in a locker room or anything else. But there's something there, and it's more than just the inability to defend the run. Like, I feel I get the label. I know they tried to ditch the label when they were going through contract talks, and they tried to do it all the time. And I do think, he's not great against the run, but I think we over-dramatize that part of it a little bit too. There's more to it. There's just something people don't trust about signing him to a 3-year deal.
Why do you believe that more than the reputation he's earned?
Well, because this is history repeating itself. Like, we have teams that
for the fourth time.
Yeah, like they are not willing to say for a 28, 29-year-old pass rusher, here's a 5-year deal with the resume he's got. They are not willing. And, again, people talk around the league, or you just check out, like, what's happened. You're like, well, something's got to be up, right? Something's up because why isn't anybody signed him to a mega deal and wait until August? And so I think it puts everybody a little bit on edge until you get him in, and then you see what happens. We'll see what happens. Maybe he has a good year, and maybe Chicago's like, great fit. Here he is for the next 3 years after that.
We are 18 minutes into the show. I'll go ahead and slap my PFF disclaimer right now. Got to do it in the first segment of every show. But just to give you an idea of the disparity, at least that PFF thinks exists, between Jan's elite-level pass rush, close to it, and the amount of effort or the amount of production that happens on a rush defense for Yannick Ngakoue. In 2017, big year for the Jags, Jan had a 90.5 pass rush grade.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
And while it's dipped from there, it's been great among top 30 in the league every year ever since, if not top 20 in terms of grade, not necessarily sack numbers. 76.8, 77.5, 76.2. I mean, fairly consistent. Here are your run defense grades for Jan since 2019. 51.6, 45.8, 28.2 in Vegas in 2021 for an entire season, and 43.7 in Indy last year. So if they were trying to get rid of the reputation that this man does not play run defense to a level of an NFL starter, it wasn't on tape, I guess, according to PFF.
Do me a favor and pull up while you got your friends there at PFF.
Nice.
And pull up Max Crosby's numbers.
Sure.
Just out of curiosity, because I don't know what that means relative to a guy who gets sacks. Like, I get it. It sounds bad, but he's not there to defend the run. Josh Allen, he's more of a stout player here in Jacksonville that is good against the run. But to be honest with you, he hasn't been on pace to even get as many sacks as Jan. But he's a more complete player. Like, we get that. We know that. People don't want to really I think, buy into that, but he is a way more complete player than Jan, which makes him, I think, a more valuable player for any NFL team because you're getting all this in one player rather than having to offset what Jan doesn't do well with another player. But the stats don't lie in this respect. It's 65 sacks in the NFL career of Yannick Ngakoue, and he's 28.
Yeah, one of only 5 NFL players to have 8 consecutive seasons with more than 8 sacks.
So what about Max Crosby?
So Max Crosby, rookie in 2019, plays, according to PFF, according to the way they grade, below par for his first 2 seasons. In 2019, his pass rush was a 67.3. In 2020, his pass rush was a 58.2. But 2021, this man explodes. In 21, his pass rush, 91.8. His rush defense, 76.7. In 22, his pass rush, 83.5. His run defense, 82.5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he stops the run.
Dominant for a 90.1 grade, among the leaders in the entire league.
Okay. So he's really come on. After a slow start, he's really come on. Yeah. Even from a pass rush standpoint.
Totally.
All right. Well,
and that's not to say he wasn't getting sacks early on in his rookie year. He had 11 sacks.
Yeah, that gives me a good differentiator, though, right? I mean, that's, again, like I don't look at Max Crosby as you would the Von Millers or the Khalil Macks as like Max Crosby's not like this specimen of a guy. He's actually like an underdog story.
Can you pull up one more person?
Sure.
Chandler Jones. That's who they replaced Jan with in Vegas.
And while you're doing that, by the way, just a reminder, I mean, he played 4 years here in Jacksonville on that rookie deal, right? And since 2020, at the age of 25, he went to Minnesota and Baltimore in the same year. Then he went to Vegas with Gus Bradley. Then he went to Indy with Gus Bradley. So he's played a lot under Gus Bradley, by the way, in that system in those years.
Gus Bradley's heading to the Bears.
He likes the Gus.
Gus stays in the Colts, but he's going to Chicago. So that's Minnesota, Baltimore, Vegas, Indy, Chicago since 2020. Guys, we haven't even started the 23 season. And that's 5 teams. That is just nuts. Like that might be the biggest mover we have in the sport. I mean, it has to be. I wouldn't even know who else. I mean, outside of like an undrafted free agent who gets cut, and is trying to make the team.
Do you feel it's a negative?
Hell yeah, it's a negative.
Why do you feel that way?
Because if you loved them, you'd keep them. And it's obvious that all these teams don't love him.
Dude's going to have a lot of choices.
Despite that number.
What if he prefers a shorter-term contract?
No. You know what he prefers? He wants 3 years for, I don't know, $45 million and $25 guaranteed. Like, he's never gotten it.
Yeah, but if he can get, and granted, this is 1 year at 10, but if he can get consecutive deals, 1 year deals at like 10 or 12 or 11, then you're working your way up there.
He's fine. He's doing fine. But he didn't know he was making $10 million until this afternoon. Mm-hmm. Like he'd like to know he's making $10 million for the next 3 years.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants a longer-term contract with guaranteed money.
Not buying a house.
Void of that guaranteed money, like I'd almost rather take the 1 year deal and just keep trying to get myself a raise every offseason. Not that it would work out that way all the time.
But again, I mean, this is a premier position, guys. Anybody else who has 65 sacks in this span is making almost $20 million a year.
Yeah.
Or more. I mean, he's just trying to latch on with a team. I mean, $10 million's a bargain. I mean, or that's like, well, what are these other guys signing for this year? What did Leonard Floyd sign for?
Something like that.
It's just like a low level. I mean, that's the cost of doing business. I mean, I'm sure you can sign a guy for cheaper, like 5, 6, 7 million. But I got to believe 10 million's like, yeah, we'll take a shot on this at that position.
9 million.
Okay, so right around there.
I will say it's impressive that Jan got this much in August versus at the beginning of free agency. I mean, this is usually the time where people are getting signed for $4 or $5 million, not necessarily 10 plus.
But I guess my point to that is, at this position, the premium position, with the guy who has 65 sacks at the age of 28,
it should be a different situation.
I don't want to say 10 million's like getting minimum wage, but 10 million's like the cost of doing business right now at that position.
Little value there for the Bears.
Leonard Floyd's also 30, by the way.
Yeah, a couple years older, yeah.
What do you want to know about
He feels a lot older than Jan, doesn't he?
He does feel a lot older. I'm wondering what his run grade is like the year before he went to Vegas. How
Chandler
good was
Jones.
he that they wanted to replace Jan with him? And they paid him a ton.
Yeah. So in 2021 for Arizona, his total defensive grade was a 70.4, but his run defense grade was a 41.9.
And they paid this guy unbelievably.
That being said, his pass rush grade was an 89.8.
Okay.
11 sacks, 15 hits, 21 hurries.
Is that
47.
40 grade or 41 grade? Is that a common grade for him throughout his career?
He's up and down, but that's the lowest he had ever received.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's his highest?
His highest was a 72.9.
So he's not great against the run.
No.
Maybe it's a better comp.
He got 3 years, $51 million. They replaced him with Jan.
Now, he is better than Jan on these grades, for sure, but it's
that
not
much
consistent.
better?
I mean,
Like,
10,
if you
10
could
to
have-
15 points per year.
And he flopped, by the way.
Yeah,
He did flop, yeah.
He's awful. But that's crazy to me.
Yeah, interesting. Jan is, you said it best to start the show, man. He's going to be an all-timer on the Immaculate Grid.
This dude's going to have a hard time picking what team he's going in the Hall of Fame as. If he ends up with 108 sacks, he's going in. Breaking news. It's gonna
be fascinating to watch.
Wild if Yannick Ngakoue makes the Hall of Fame. This is actually, I think, a conversation you wanted to have yesterday, and we didn't let you. We kind of moved off of it. Were you starting us down the road of too many people are in the Hall of Fame?
I did this the other day, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't getting there. I was just giving my honest view. I do the name test when it comes to the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Baseball, basketball even, but football, and football is a tricky one because of the positions difference, the values and offensive lineman versus a guy like a running back where you can add up the stats. But that's when my Zach Thomas stuff was like, I watched a lot of football for the Dolphins. I was like, never like, oh, that's the Hall of Famer.
I got a couple of names I want to.
But you keep adding up your career numbers now, and you go back like
the Zach Thomas numbers were very close to Urlacher. I looked them up while we were doing this. Yeah.
So were the accolades, by the way, which is also something I give a lot of credence to.
Everything was nearly the same, except Urlacher had a bunch more sacks, but he was asked to do that.
This will be a great if he gets to 110 sacks. Let's just say, possibility. I don't know how long he's going to play. We're talking about Jan.
I don't think he'll go to the Hall of Fame.
I don't either. But it'll be a fascinating case study.
Wouldn't he?
Because I don't think anybody will ever here's the other
I'm
part.
not saying guys
he's
with
one Pro Bowl, Casey.
Yeah.
He's won Pro Bowl. So
and he's not really regarded as elite among his peers.
Well, that obviously not amongst his GMs either.
And that's part of it, right? It's not just about like how many awards you won or how many touchdowns you got, but were you the best of your time or one of them?
That is part of it. Yeah.
110 sacks puts him in the top 40 all time.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, here's the difference. Like Calais, I didn't feel like he's going to get to 100 sacks, and some people don't think he's in the Hall of Fame. But he's got accolades for dates.
And he was also man of the year every year.
That's what I'm saying. He's got all those things off the field, on the field. Jan doesn't have any of that. Jan ain't going in the Hall of Fame. Unless he gets 125 sacks. It's going to have to be a higher metric for him. But the crazy thing is, folks, this dude has a lot of sacks. He has a lot of sacks. And just can't find a home.
Top 20 rushing yards all time should get you in the Hall of Fame.
Well,
you're asking me or telling me?
I'm asking you.
Feels like you should.
All right. Fred Taylor, 17.
Yeah.
He should be.
That's a beef we have around here.
I know it's a beef, but it's a question mark for the whole country.
But Fred is a lot Fred isn't anything like Jan in this situation, but other than the accolade part.
Yeah.
Fred didn't have the Pro Bowls, right? It was small market Jacksonville, or he didn't get them. He played in a crazy good time of running backs, and I think some of those All-Pros, Pro Bowls, all that kind of stuff has hurt Fred's case a little bit from the outside looking in, even though we all believe it around here that it shouldn't even be a question. Let's take a break. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. What do you think of Zach Wilson last night? Not a lot to break down from the Hall of Fame game.
Oh, that's what you think.
But Aaron's got something.
Well, me and Case.
Oh, Kasey too.
Got a few
Thanks,
things.
Brent. This was actually my idea.
Okay, very good.
You know good.
Sorry. Well, you didn't tell me about it. Aaron did, so I gave credit to him.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly cloudy today, some widely scattered showers and even a few thunderstorms. Highs in the upper 80s to low 90. 80s to 70s this evening, partly to mostly cloudy, an isolated shower, but overnight we drop down to the mid-70s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. For a limited time, get 5 years, 0 interest, only at Beards Diamonds.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Tuning into the baseball game, monitoring the incoming storm, catching your favorite talk show. These are just a few of the reasons more than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month. And did you know AM radio is the backbone of the emergency alert system? It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
The kids are the latest in the Martineau household to get a car from Nimnick Buick GMC. That happened back in December. They absolutely love it, and they're having a fantastic summer. Hope you're having a fantastic summer. And if you're in car shopping mode, you know where to go. Nimnick Buick GMC. You can try them out at nimnickbuickgmc.com or check them out and what's on the lot on Phillips Highway. Also, if you're looking for a used car, plenty available under $18,000. It's the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville, nimnickbuickgmc.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
What? They did not tell me they were going to do that. I need a new bank.
Well, actually, One-to-One Financial doesn't do the usual bank surprises because we're not a bank. We're a credit union, and that means lower loan interest, things like free checking and member rewards, and of course, total investment back into our community.
I'm sold.
Find a better way to bank than big banks with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit 121fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Government Mule performing the hits, plus a very special Dark Side of the Mule set featuring Pink Floyd classics. The Mule, an audio and visual spectacle. Government Mule. Saturday, October 14th at St. Augustine Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Government Mule.
Leonard Skinnard, live in concert. Second show added by popular demand. October 5th at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Celebrating 50 years of Leonard Skinnard. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. Brent Friends on a Friday. Even Kasey's bobbing over there with that new Dream 18 hat. He's the only one wearing it.
Hey.
It's a filthy bet.
Hey.
Love it.
Hey.
Filthy.
Straight gas, Brent. Dummy dank fire.
Just getting you headed into the weekend in style here with these two guys.
Yeah, buddy.
Aaron Schachter and Kasey Kurtz. I'm Brent Martineau. Jags off today.
Nice.
But the Jets and the Browns were not last night.
Well, depends. Some of them were off.
All right, let's just a quick thought. We're not going to go into this game and
Hold on.
And
you don't
analyze.
need to know how the Browns backup tight end battle went?
How did it go?
I wasn't paying
Let me tell you what did happen. Do you guys remember when I wrote that article about who the Jags should pick? Do you remember who I picked in the 5th round?
No, I don't remember who you picked in the 5th round.
Dorian Thompson Robinson.
He lit it up last night. He looked good.
Tell me he wasn't cooking.
He looked good.
This man was full Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, who's Kellen Mond?
I'd say the backup in Cleveland, Dorian Thompson Robinson.
Yeah,
It should be.
That's probably going to be the case.
And you know what? Not a bad backup to.
I saw
to be.
5 plays from the game. One was an interception by the linebacker there in the second quarter. That was a nice play. Terrible throw. I think that was by Mond.
You didn't see DTR going,
I really didn't watch much.
tiptoeing on the sideline. That's 10 more yards.
Quick
Also,
thought on Zach Wilson. You get a couple plays here or there.
good.
What was your take? Everything that's come together with him, knowing that he's not going to play for a bit, this glimpse of him, the support of Aaron Rodgers, and even this team still a little bit, if you will. I mean, do you feel better about what we were talking about yesterday, that on the other side of this, he might be serviceable at the very least, but maybe even live up to some of the hype kind of quarterback?
I'm not there yet, but I got 2 years to get there. What I am happy about, though, the important.
Well, you hope you have 2 years to get there.
Correct, yes. What I'm happy about, though, is it looked like Zach and Aaron, that's a real thing. It looked like their relationship, their bond is certainly significant. And the guys on the sidelines, he's learning from Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers getting to teach the young man. And you hear after the game on Zach's long 57-yard bomb downfield, apparently Aaron Rodgers was the one who suggested it to Hackett.
Yeah.
And it worked out. I love that. Bring it.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to be the guy that saves Zach Wilson?
Might be the guy who just saves the entire franchise, Brent. This thing was listless for 40 years.
So I don't want to jump on this, but low key, if the Jets are good, he saves the Jets. If Wilson ends up being decent, he saves Wilson.
And all the young guns on that team.
But maybe not most important, but somewhat important, he might become likable and save face on himself.
All right, so time out, because he's already there. He's already
You like him now?
Very much.
It's been a month. They haven't even played football, and now you're in.
Well, he's my favorite football player of all time. Listen, how is this guy not likable, guys? They brought in this.
Oh, he's Aaron Rodgers. That's why he's not fully likable.
Yes. No, I was there up until they put on the Jets jersey. And then now he's participating. He's happy to be there. He's smiling. He's not contentious with the media. He's not mean to anybody. He's helpful. He's teaching. He's having a fun time. He says it. He was telling all the boys in the Hard Knocks trailer, I know you guys don't like the trailers or the documentaries or Hard Knocks, so I realize you may have missed it. But in the trailer, he's like, guys.
We did miss it.
Guys, it goes by fast. You got to enjoy it while you got it. That's what I'm doing right now. It's inspirational, fellas. Loved it.
That's why he's so geeked up on a Friday. You got to enjoy it while it lasts, man.
Yeah, Jets football, guys. But, Zach Wilson was one of the things we wanted to see a lot of. But the other thing I mentioned yesterday that I was really concerned, I really wanted to see more than that backup tight end battle for the Browns, was Mekhi Becton. Here's a guy who was drafted high in the first round, I believe the 11th pick, a monster of a man, hasn't played football essentially in 2 years, Brent. He's coming back trying to be a left tackle, a starting left tackle. It seems like the Jets coaching staff is not on board, and they haven't been for a while. It's been a little contentious in the press. I don't know if you remember this offseason, a little bit of that. Mekhi was supposed to play 20 to 25 snaps last night. After 7, he took himself out of the game. Wondering what happened, Brent?
I'm going to plan on doing that after 40 minutes of the show today.
Well, then you got to go, bro. 39-52. You did it.
Case, let's hear from Ngakoue why he pulled himself out of the game after 7 snaps.
I mean, that turf isn't friendly for people of my size and my type of injury. So, yeah, I was feeling it in warm-up, so I just pulled myself a little early. I'm good.
So what Gigantor is saying is that his knee isn't necessarily in the right shape to play on the high school turf. And I wonder if Robert Saleh is feeling the same way. Case, we got something from Robert.
Just probably a little confidence issue, but he's not. You saw him go in there for a field goal. So he's fine. It's just, again, he's got to build confidence in that thing and be able to push through whatever he might be feeling.
All right, so follow the thread here. Mekhi Becton takes himself out of the game after 7 of 20 snaps. Says, my knee hurts. They asked Coach about it after the game. Coach goes, it's a confidence issue. You see that because we put him on special teams, and he played 4 snaps for us. I wonder if they got back to Mekhi Becton on it, Case.
I wouldn't say I got to get more confident. I would say I just got to know that this is my new normal. Like I'm gonna have days where it's painful. I'm gonna have days where it's not painful. So that's just what it is.
His career in New Jersey is over. It's done.
Yeah, it doesn't look promising. I mean, he did all that work in the weight room, but I mean, I get what I get what Saleh's saying about confidence, right? You have confidence, not playing, confidence in the knee, like confidence that it's going to be okay. A lot of guys have this problem with like ACL injuries, right?
Totally.
But if he's still having pain in the knee, even after losing all that weight.
Which is what Becton is saying.
Yeah,
they said, is it a confidence in the knee issue, not a personal confidence? And he said, no, this isn't a confidence thing.
It's a pain thing. It's a tolerance thing.
Well, that's what Becton has been saying the whole time. This is where the fight started with the coaching staff.
Well, so he's got a bum knee.
I mean, it kept him out 2 years now.
Well, I know, but it still might keep him out. And
that's what happens when you're 6'9",
fast.
350 pounds for most of your life.
Yeah, I guess. Makes some sense. And I don't know if that's something they could have caught in the pre-draft process or what. But they better start looking for another offensive lineman.
I believe they have been.
Well, I mean, seriously, what's the chance of making it through the year?
No, I think they're trying to trade him right now.
He couldn't even get through 10 snaps, bro. He ain't making it through the year.
I don't think he's going to start. I don't even think he's like 4th up.
Good luck trading him after those sound bites.
Right?
I'll tell you what, though. You see his chain, the big ticket? Boy, go look at those pictures.
You like that, huh?
I just think it's a bold choice when you can only play 6 snaps to wear a $100,000 chain.
You gotta be careful how much swag you have at
and
6
flex.
snaps.
It's a cool design. Good necklace, but you pull yourself out of the Hall of Fame game, bro, you
listen.
Probably shouldn't be wearing it.
Mekhi Becton is that dude. He'll give you the best 7 snaps of the game, bro.
There's some things on this show that these guys like to surprise me with. A week ago, I said, Aaron loves reviews. He's reviewing something next. What it is, we're about to find out. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you need in a snap, and it'll show you how to find it in store with a tap. Or get it delivered free. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank. Any member FDIC.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Hot, hot, hot. Can you believe this weather out there? Hi, this is Stan Nagel for Energy Seal Foam Insulation, reminding you that you're burning up. Do something about it. Spray foaming your attic with Energy Seal really works.
Call 888-306-3626 for 20% summer savings. EnergySealJax.com.
It's a beautiful day at the grocery store. Uh-oh, looks like there's some spilled tomato sauce. Here comes the slide.
Ooh, that's going to leave a mark, Bob.
Injuries can come out of left field. Call Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Visit forthepeople.com or an office near you.
Boot Barn is committed to supporting those who uphold the Western way of life. Denim plays a major role as a robust material that holds strong in a rugged environment. Since 1947, the Wrangler Authentic Western jeans have brought long-lasting denim to all who embrace the cowboy lifestyle. Boot Barn is proud to support this bold legacy, one that's just as iconic now as it was then. Wrangler at Boot Barn.
Two roads diverged into a steamy, hot northeast Florida summer. One road led to a home AC system that's unreliable and inefficient. It was fated to fail swiftly. The other road led to a home that's efficiently and dependably cool. Its AC was a mechanical marvel, destined to be a lasting refuge against summer's scorching siege.
Time to take the road most traveled by your neighbors for over 60 years. Hammond Air Conditioning. Hammond is North Florida's most trusted authority for air conditioning services. And with Hammond, your home is never a learning opportunity for inexperienced techs. Hammond's veteran specialists understand how to make a system operate perfectly in our Northeast Florida heat. And they know how to extract all the potential from a modern high-efficiency system. That means they'll design a system perfect for you, one that fits to the temperature you want and will save you money on your electric bills. Right now, get a brand new high-efficiency system for as low as $70 per month, and that's with a 10-year warranty. Go to hammondair.com.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Should I be nervous?
Kind of.
Am I about to get embarrassed?
Yeah, a little bit.
Not you.
I'm definitely about to be embarrassed, but I do this for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
I make the sacrifice for you.
You embarrass me for me.
Well, I'm embarrassed us for us. It was your idea.
Hey, listen, you don't leave the building.
That's true.
I got to go see people.
That's true. Well, I'm not. It's not that bad.
Okay.
He doesn't name names. I don't think. I haven't heard
maybe.
it.
Oh, boy. I have no idea where this is going, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, Brent had no part of this.
I don't know, but
Wink.
I can kind of get the sense and the feeling of some of the commercial conversation.
Nah, it's not dangerous. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
We're good. Our jobs are safe.
Are you getting us into this?
Yeah, sure. So you asked me last week, because you know I like reviews.
You do. You like, seriously, reviews, like every restaurant, hotels, concerts, everything.
But I also like coming at things at different angles. Maybe angles that other people don't get. Because, like, reviews are all over the place. So what's going to make my review different than other people's reviews? So this time around, I thought maybe I could do a one-word review. But that's, like, kind of a small bit. So to juice it up a little bit, I made a small piece of production to go along with it. And with that case, I want you... Oh. Do you have it ready? I'm sorry. Case.
I thought this was the one-word review.
It is. Okay. Just making sure we're on the same page. Here we go. Sorry about that.
You see too many things.
A lot of suspense.
Yeah, it is a lot of suspense.
With that case, I would love you to play the intro, please. If you want to know about a cool place, turn to Brent Friends, because Aaron's got something to say. Just sit back and tight. Aaron's taking flight. He's giving out some reviews tonight. Sing it one word reviews. One word reviews. want another verse, Brent?
I do.
There's one more. If you need the straight shot on a new thing, take a beat, cause Aaron's got something to say. Here comes the guy with flabby gut and thighs, reviewing everything from veggies to fries. One word reviews. One word reviews. Aaron Schachter's one-word reviews are the sole opinion of Aaron Schachter and are not the views or opinions shared by TV's Brett Martineau, Gambling's Kasey Kurtz, ESPN 690, Cox Media Group, the City of Jacksonville, Florida, or the Worldwide Association of International Dance Champions. That's me. One-word reviews are the property of Cox Media Group and is protected by copyright law. All rights are reserved. No part of this broadcast may be reproduced or distributed or transmitted in any form by any means, including but not limited to electronic, mechanical, photocopy, recording, or otherwise without the prior written consent of ESPN 690. Stop listening to one-word reviews and call your doctor at once if you have heart attack symptoms, chest pain or pressure, pain spreading to your jaw or shoulder, nausea, sweating, vision changes, or sudden vision loss, ringing in your ears, sudden hearing loss, or the urge to change the channel to 1010XL for a dose of audio ambient. And now, Aaron Schachter presents a Brent and Friends production, brought to you by ESPN 690. Ladies and gentlemen, the one-word review. One word reviews.
How long does this take you to do? It's amazing.
Here we go.
This has Headbit vibes all over it. What are we reviewing?
Today, my one-word review will be about Zach Wilson's performance last night.
Here's Aaron Schachter with his one-word review.
Meh. That's it, Brent. It's a one-word review.
That was it?
Yeah, meh. Because he was kind of good, but he wasn't like great. It's one word.
His face.
What's the matter? I told you the whole time it was a one-word review.
Well, you used 5,342 words to get into it.
Brent was like, what?
Just trying to complete the assignment.
It was, man. Why not mid?
He's so disappointed.
His face. What do you say?
You don't like the auto-tune? The whole...
I liked it. I liked everything else except for the actual review.
Disclaimer in there?
Disclaimer was fantastic. I almost want to hear the head mitt. I would have started this segment later if I knew it was just going to be Matt. I mean, a one-word review.
What did you think was going to happen?
I don't know. I had no idea. I don't know what to expect out of this guy.
Hey, good news. We got another review coming up later in the show.
It's not one word. It's an actual review.
That is many words. That review is all review.
All review. And all words.
Review.
And probably just as embarrassing.
Yeah. On a non-sports item.
Very good.
Okay.
You guys want to guess what the item is?
No, I don't.
Brent's not happy.
I do not. Mercedes Lewis is going to Chicago.
We're just moving on.
How long is Mercedes Lewis going to play?
I don't know. This is probably it.
Shorter career than that Open, I'll tell you that.
18 years, man.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever been this shade of red before.
You guys surprised Mercedes goes to Chicago?
A little bit. I thought if he was going to go somewhere, he was going to come here. Maybe there wasn't room in the room.
Maybe they saw the Jags are doing well. They're like, we need the most former Jags we can find.
Well, don't you? It would have been a nice end to the story if this is the final year, right? Bring him back.
There's no. The Jags are not looking for a 39-year-old tight end.
No, but like
He's
in a ceremonial
39,
thing.
Guys. 39.
He had a good season last year.
If you had given me a player,
it's Matt Kasey, okay?
No.
If you had given me a player that would have been fighting in the cage in Australia for UFC, it would have been Mercedes Lewis, not our own Austin Lane.
Really?
Yeah. Mercedes actually used a bunch of the MMA drills, like before it was even popular, I think. Like as MMA was really coming up early on, he trained with some folks from a hand fighting standpoint, and now I think a lot of football players actually do that. Like they utilize some of that. And
Tua did this offseason.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and a lot of people are saying it's done him some great progress in not getting hurt and being able to step up in the pocket.
I really don't believe anything you say anymore.
Oh, okay, no. It's literally printed on something I gave you.
Yeah, he's beefy now. That's how he got there.
18th NFL season would break a tie with Jason Witten and Tony Gonzalez for the most ever played.
Yeah, he definitely wants that.
251 career games, ranks 5th among active players, and 52nd all time.
How did you not? You're like Sunshine and Rainbows guy. How did you not want him to come back here for the final year?
I wouldn't have minded that. I just get that that's not happening. Like, again, I think that's a little bit of the problem with some of these pass rushers, the Leonard Floyds and everybody else. Like, they don't want, I think they want to stay in people in their prime, right? Instead of, they're not such a young locker room where they don't have veteran presence and they need, like, Mercedes Lewis back. Now, you can argue they should have never got rid of him at the time they did, but they don't need that right now. I thought he might go to the Jets. Because of Aaron Rodgers and stuff. But he goes to help out Justin Fields in that group instead. Will we ever have another one-word review?
I think we should.
I think we should, just because the Open obviously took a lot of work.
It wasn't too much. Meh. Kasey nailed it.
4 o'clock hour next on ESPN 690. We're talking a little Florida State football. What conference are they in? What conference is anyone in?
Who knows
anymore? Kids are the latest in the Martineau household to get a car from Nimnick Buick GMC. That happened back in December. They absolutely love it, and they're having a fantastic summer. Hope you're having a fantastic summer. And if you're in car shopping mode, you know where to go. Nimnick Buick GMC. You can try them out at nimnickbuickgmc.com or check them out and what's on the lot on Phillips Highway. Also, if you're looking for a used car, plenty available under $18,000. It's the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville, nimnickbuickgmc.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder? Maybe it's pain in your hip or back. Don't let them tell you steroids and surgery are your only option. Take my advice now and call QC Kinetics and get a free consultation. 904-274-5522. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all natural, advanced regenerative medicine. They're helping people here every day with these amazing natural treatments that restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It's like turning back the clock. Oh, that would be nice. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body to stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they are supposed to. And there's zero downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting medical breakthrough. Patients here are getting real, lasting relief and are saying no to surgery and no to drugs. If you have pain due to injury or arthritis, it's a remarkable option that you need to check out. The consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522, and Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522.
If you're about to pop the question, celebrate an anniversary or birthday.
Stop. Don't shop the large chain jewelry stores.
Beards Diamonds has been Jacksonville's diamond store for nearly 40 years.
And now it's Beards Diamonds' most exceptional finance offer of the year. 5 years, 0% financing with nothing down.
Shop Beards Diamonds everyday low price on anything in the store, or shop and now purchase online at beardsdiamonds.com.
Divide your total price by 60, and that's your monthly payment with absolutely nothing down.
How about a $6,000 three-stone designer setting?
You pay only $100 a month.
Or a $4,500 1-carat diamond solitaire pendant necklace.
You pay just $75 a month.
You can even choose from a large selection of Rolex watches and spread your payments out for 5 years and pay absolutely nothing in interest.
But hurry, just like an afternoon shower, these savings will be gone.
Shop and now purchase online at beardsdiamonds.com or at the St. John's Town Center.
Before you buy anywhere, shop Beards Diamonds.
Gain presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer lasting scent.
O'Reilly! Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Super Start battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Lakers forward Anthony Davis will sign a 3-year max extension with the team worth $186 million. His deal now runs until 2028. Will the Pac-12 as we know it be out of business a year from now? ESPN's Pete Thamel is reporting the Big Ten could vote by tonight to bring in Oregon and Washington, while Arizona could be destined for the Big 12. ESPN's Heather Dinich.
It's truly mind-blowing. Dizzying is a great word for it. There's a lot of reaction throughout college athletics about what's going to happen next in terms of the fallout.
Heather Dinich on Canty and Carlin. Saints running back Alvin Kamara and Colts cornerback Chris Lamons each get 3-game suspensions to start the season for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Both players were involved in a fight in Las Vegas last year.
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kurtz. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
What in the world is going on in college football? What is the latest? It's amazing how much this has changed
in such a short amount of time.
And yeah, we knew like stuff was coming down the road at some point, but then all of a sudden in the last, I don't know what it is, it feels like the last few weeks, couple weeks, this thing has just heated up to a point where the Pac-12 like doesn't feel like it exists anymore. Is Oregon going to the Big Ten? Washington? And I think the latest, at least ESPN has, is Oregon and Washington are set to join the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for Arizona? And I saw something to Arizona, the Big 12. Unless Oregon stays, that could maybe keep Arizona. I mean, it's just amazing to see what is happening. Obviously, this all comes down to money at the end of the day. And Florida State has put themselves right in the middle of it with a lot of conversation, very vocal, and trying to use some leverage and power. And where that will come down, we will see. Does it mean out of the ACC? Does it mean more money for them in the ACC? Will they get their way? It's a money play right now across the board. And FSU, by the way, if they were to leave the ACC, they could be on the ropes for $120 million of an exit fee. That's how much they think it's worth testing the waters.
Yeah, I mean, they'll make that back tenfold, they think, where they're going.
Bottom line is, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the facilities, if you can't play the game the way everybody else is, well, then you got to look to try to get it on equal footing. And the SEC has surpassed so many. The Big Ten kind of stands there as well. There are some things out there now that it looks like most people, well, not most, some people believe this is going to be an NFL setup. It's going to be an AFC and NFC in college football.
Well, don't you get your wish at that point?
I think I saw Stuart Mandel say he wrote this either years ago or months ago or whatever, that He thinks it's going to be a 28-team East, West, South, North, and
For the
18
FBS.
playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But don't you get your wish of a league-wide commissioner and, more structure?
Yeah, maybe you get more structure. And part of this is it's a wild, wild west. Absolutely. Let's bring in James Coleman right now on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau and Aaron Schachter. Kasey Kurtz as well. 4 o'clock on Brent Friends on ESPN 690. And I'll get to a big event James is doing. One of the reasons we have him on, but he also knows Florida State very well. What the hell is going on in college football, James?
Well, I mean, it's been in the tea leaves for quite some time. I mean, I played and was a part of one of the first major expansions in the modern era when the ACC expanded. And they talked about then, I remember reading the ESPN article where they talked about college football Pangea and how it was going to shift down to about 4 conferences, and they predicted the playoffs. This was over 20 years ago. So, I mean, when you look at the things and how they've been going and transpiring, you're either going to be ahead of the curve or you're going to be behind it. Obviously, the SEC and the Big Ten have been the two that have been ahead of the curve recently.
Do you have any idea? It's obviously a guess. I mean, there's a lot of backroom dealings going on, a lot of conversation in front of microphones. The word is ESPN's heavily involved in this, too, and how they might be able to distribute dollars. But where do you think, as close as you are to Florida State, as a former player and still with a lot of good ties there, how does this end up for Florida State? They staying in the ACC? They out? What do you think?
Nah, eventually it'll be Big Ten. This stuff started happening last year when they kind of renegotiated the ACC deal, and FSU. So then the SEC and the Big Ten announced how much their teams are going to make. And one thing that people have to realize is that this is also bigger than just sports. Florida State has one singular mission, and that's to be better than the University of Florida in every aspect. And that not just sports, but what happens is you can't be a better academic institution when you're behind when you're giving up $30 to $40 million annually in football, and you're watching the likes of Vanderbilt just collect more money than you. It's about wins. It's about this. So it's a few things that happened. We saw with Texas, where the Big 12 kind of conceded, gave the Texas the Longhorn Network, gave a little bit of money, but the divorce was still imminent. That's why they're leaving to go to the SEC. So even if the ACC does an unequal revenue distribution, Florida State's still going to be gone in 10 years.
James,
so really all they're going to do is kick the ball down the court.
It sounds like you think the move to the Big Ten would be beneficial to FSU, but do you think the moves are beneficial to college football? Do you support the idea of making it more NFL-like on the college landscape?
I think that's just the inevitable. That's what's been happening. And is it more beneficial? I actually really enjoyed last year's college football playoff when I originally was against it. So really, I'm about more competition. And the reality is, 28 teams was a good thing, but there's no more than 40 to 50 teams every year that has a real chance of winning a national championship or even competing for it. So the haves and the have-nots has been what college football has been for a while. Even if you look at who's the top 25 most consistently over the last 30 years, it's been the same 25 damn teams. So like people who think about parity, that only maybe happens in college basketball, but in football, parity is a dream.
James Coleman with us here on ESPN 690. I agree with you, too. And I'm not even sure I'd put it at 40 or 50 teams, but I get what you're saying. Any given year, it's probably 8 to 12 teams, but those programs that actually can play maybe is more up around like 40 teams for the national title and compete with the big boys and the heavyweights, and especially in today's landscape with the transfer portal and NIL money happening. Florida State, by the way, should be good. Jordan Travis, Jared Verse, Mike Norvell's got it kind of figured out, and I don't think they're distracted by this at all. This is like not a player distraction thing, in my opinion. Do you think this could sideswipe them, all these conversations, in any kind of way?
No, the only thing it's going to do is put them under more of a magnifying glass that they already are in, that they haven't been used to. I mean, Florida State is a team that returns 87% of the production that they had last year. They're a team that people are talking about going to the college football playoff. When you're in that situation, you're already under the magnifying glass. Things that have no control, they have no control over, and probably won't benefit or affect them while they're playing. These guys are going to keep it focused. They seem to be doing a really, really good job of that over in Tallahassee the few times I've been over there.
Mike Norvell really turned the corner last year, and I guess now it feels like they're here. He's hit the transfer portal in such a dynamic way and been so successful with that. I guess the question around Florida State is, now can they win big again, James? I mean, it looks like they can win again, but can they win big again?
I think they can. The schedule the schedule is in September. We'll know everything we need to know about this Florida State team if they've turned that corner or if they're just still building blocks and getting good. I mean, when I say September, you open up the season with LSU. It should be a top 10 matchup. You finish the month against Clemson. If you're able to go 1-1 or 2-0 in that situation, the rest of the season, you're going to be in the driver's seat. And that's what people need to know. Last year, the biggest flaw is that when they played 3 ranked teams back to back, they lost. They went 0-3. Now, granted, there were some reasons why. A lot of injuries across the D line. Some notable guys were out, but they got it back together. But when Mike Norvell finished the season, the explosion of offense that FSU had was crazy. They kind of had lulls in that 3-game loss. But when you add Keon Coleman, you add I can't think of the tight end's name. I'm saying his name so much. But from South Carolina, you add some quality pieces across the offensive line. FSU should be exciting to watch.
James Coleman hanging out with us here on ESPN 690. I really thought that 3-game losing streak and turning around from that, if we look down the road and Mike Norvell's the coach for a decade, to me that would be the pivotal time. The slide didn't continue. They turned it around, then go on a winning streak to end the year. And Jordan Travis, a big part of it, man. I think this guy was just a guy, James. I mean, this is one of the great stories in college football and also shows you how much continuity helps in this sport, especially at that position when you're in an offense for a certain amount of time. But Jordan Travis has now put himself in a conversation for a Heisman Trophy, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to him, but a few years ago, he was seriously just a guy.
Yeah, and it was one of the funny things is I was talking to former offensive coordinator, current head coach at Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham, and he basically broke it down to me when nobody else saw it. He said Jordan Travis, if we can get average athletes around Jordan Travis, he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. And I couldn't see it then, but you can see flashes of it. He came in, he saved the day from the first time Florida State should have lost to Jacksonville State. He came in and snatched, basically what they basically came and won that game. If you would have had consistency, you wouldn't have fell in love with the McKenzie Milton story and allowed the pressures to let you play somebody that you weren't sure about, you probably would have more wins as a ball player. But one of the things that I do forgive Mike Norvell is that he still is a relatively young coach. 4 years at Memphis. Last year was his 3rd season at Florida State in the Big Time. He hasn't even been a head coach for a decade. So he was making a lot of mistakes. I think right now he's growing as the team is growing, and it's kind of exciting to watch when you see everybody doing well at the same time.
The roster looks like a real powerhouse, and you can see the evolution from 3 years ago to today. A lot of people, obviously, Brent talking about Jordan Travis and Jared Verse getting a lot of attention, too, coming back for this year when he could have easily gone to the NFL, possibly been a first-round draft pick. But name some of these other guys on the roster that people should keep an eye on, like a Trey Benson or a Lawrence Toafili, even a guy like Rodney Hill in the backfield or anyone that may have come on the defense. I know there's a couple of big transfer portal pickups on the defense. There are some other guys on this team that are really going to propel this roster to a top 10, top 5 ranking this year, aren't there?
Kalen DeLoach and Tatum Bethune, 2 returning linebackers who both have NFL draft grades. Akeem Dennis got a ton of plays. Will he turn the corner and be the top prospect that he was? That's a guy that I think a lot of people are relying on for a lot of stuff. But as I mentioned, Keon Coleman, he was one of the top wide receivers in the transfer portal when he hit from out of Michigan State. And then you brought up Trey Benson, and I think Trey Benson's the guy that gets lost because people kind of don't really value the running back as much as they used to. But Trey Benson is one of the leading returners in college football. But really, it all, from an offensive perspective, actually as a team perspective, Florida State goes as far as the mind and the legs of Jordan Travis go. As long as Jordan Travis stays healthy, there isn't a team on this schedule that you just say Florida State doesn't have a chance against. And that's including your LSUs and your Clemson.
James Coleman with us here on ESPN 690, and he's got his 4th annual Community Give Back Weekend coming up Saturday and Sunday. It starts at Long Branch Elementary School, and it finishes it up at University Christian here in Jacksonville with a football camp. You've been doing a lot of these things for a while now, and it goes all the way to tailgates, I think, in Tallahassee at Florida State games. How'd you come up with this, and why have you continued to do it, James?
Well, I was going to celebrate my Jersey year, which is my 36th birthday, but then the world shut down, and I couldn't do that. So what I did was, though, I took a little bit of money that I had saved to have a really good birthday party, and I decided that I wanted to give back to the community. And Florida State's fan base is so great that when I just made the mention of buying some book bags for kids, a bunch of people poured in the donations, and we did one in Tallahassee, and then we turned around and did one in Jacksonville at my son's elementary school. And then what I said was I like the feeling, and each year has grown. This year we would have given over 4,000 bags between Orlando, Tallahassee, and the Jacksonville this weekend. They also get they get food. So they come in, they get as many book bags as they need for the kids in their car. They get about a week's worth of groceries, and then they get to kind of go on about their way. And then on Sunday we do a community football camp. This year we're doing it at University Christian, where my son plays Pop Warner. So we're going to go and try to train some kids up. And it's all about feeding, equipping, and training the next generation. A lot of people talk about how bad things are. They talk about these young people are changing and they're disrespectful, but they're doing absolutely nothing to impact them. At some point, the adults have to go and show the way, and I think that's what I wanted to do.
JamesColemanGivesBack.com for more information. But again, it starts tomorrow with Long Branch Elementary School. And my guess is you find out during these moments, as you're giving back and opening up your heart, and so many others are as well, that there are a lot of people that need this stuff, huh?
Yeah, especially here in Jacksonville. I mean, there's a tremendous wealth disparity that's starting to happen, and that's fine. That's capitalism. But at the end of the day, we got to make sure as we're progressing, we give hand ups, not handouts. So we don't judge it. It's not like we're taking tax returns and we're checking people at the gate. I've seen guys come up in a Mercedes. I've seen people come up in jalopy. At the end of the day, you come through that. There's white, there's black, there's Asian. It doesn't matter if you come up and you need something. My job is to be able to make sure we help and equip. Plus, it's the greatest marketing thing that I could potentially do is just give back.
It's awesome.
I also want to ask you a little bit about the football camp, because it says boys and girls, and my guess is over, even these few years, and as you go along here, you get a lot more girls participating in those camps.
Man, we had some girls in Tallahassee last weekend, man. They could boogie, man. They're competitive. They're getting after it. And really the reason why I did it, with girls flag football starting to emerge and become one of the faster growing sports, there's still a need for elite training. So, they need to know how to play running back. They need to know how to throw and catch. They need to know how to cover. They need to know how to do these things. And these girls are ultra competitive. And I think at that age, the differences in the muscle mass isn't as prevalent as a lot of the conversations are going on in the nation as of right now, because we're not training high school boys and girls. But I think it's just good, and it's an opportunity to get everybody out of the house, sweating a little bit, getting them heat acclimated, so that parents can have a little bit of peace.
Do you need any help with anything for this weekend, or is there someone listening right now that can, hey, if they can't help out this weekend, maybe down the road? I mean, we can send them obviously to JamesColemanGivesBack.com, but as you put these things together, is there a section of what you're doing that you could use a little more impact in through the help of the community?
Yeah, this isn't just a one-time thing. We do the tailgates, birth, the ticket giveaway. So we about every home game at Florida State, we give away 100 to 150 tickets to families that have never been to a game, of kids who are doing the right thing in school. This year we're gonna transfer that over to get some Jaguars tickets. The Gator Bowl, we'll make sure we send a contingent of kids to the Gator Bowl. So we're always doing. So we have a STEM camp. There's a lot of things that I do with the MFTK Foundation. If you go to mftkfoundation.com, you can go see how you can give back. You can see a lot of the different things that we do. There's like a PayPal link and a lot of other different things, ways you can get in contact with us to do it. But the biggest thing that I really, really need is just tell people to go to JamesColemanGivesBack.com, a share, a like. I need kids register for this camp so I can make sure I give them these cool Adidas bags and these Army water bottles. I got 2,000 bags I got to get rid of, because if you want to help me out, I got a storage unit that I would really like to stop paying for. If I could just get people to take these bags.
Well, get to camp then. He's got plenty of spots to get over there and plenty of things to give away. That's at University Christian, but check out JamesColemanGivesBack.com. It's going to be a big weekend. I'm not going to let you go without one more question, though. This has to do with the Jags. How hard is what Derek Parrish is doing? How hard is that? He's transitioning from defensive end to fullback. And as a former fullback, the Jags are going to value this position to some degree, it looks like. But what that young man is trying to do has to be extremely difficult.
If anybody follows me on social media, I have a saying: if you want to win, you got to give the ball to the damn fullback. You got to be focused. Like, not every team has a fullback in the NFL, but the good ones do.
They're making a comeback, aren't they, though?
The Chiefs got a fullback.
Yep.
The Ravens got a fullback. The 49ers got a fullback. It's a lot. I can go down the list. But what he's got to do is really look at it in similarities. At defensive end, or if you play linebacker, your job is to go downhill and make a tackle. The same concept at fullback. You have to isolate, find the person you're blocking, and you have to attack them as if that's the person that you're making a tackle. You just got to put your hands in a little bit different. As long as he's aggressive and he realizes that you can't go, it's like boxing. You can't go for the knockout blow, and you can't take everybody's shot. Sometimes you got to switch it up a little bit on him. I think he's going to be fine. I saw him run a post on the first day of practice. He caught it, a kind of a thug tear went down my eye because I was like, man, I remember those days, but I hope he makes it. And if he's listening, dude, if you make this team, you get up with me. We're going to do some fullback things in this city, man. I will make sure you take care of it.
Very cool.
It's a fullback party. You know, the one thing we notice that'd be a hard transition is the hands, right? If fullbacks catch a pass here or there, and you got to be able to reel that thing in. You can't drop it when you get a chance.
Yep.
But there's more to the position than that, obviously, James. But that is part of it. And he talked to us about that. Like, hey, throw me a loaf of bread. Throw me anything. Make sure my hands are as good as they can be going into this camp.
One of the first things that I realized when I played in New Orleans with Drew Brees is that when you make your break and you turn your head, the ball is there. So you got to make sure your hands are up and you got to catch it. You only get so many times to drop something. But I think, again, that just comes. Luckily, Trevor Lawrence is such a good quarterback. He throws a catchable ball. A lot of people don't really understand what that means. It's like he's not always throwing a fastball. Some quarterbacks, man, that thing, whether you're 5 yards away or 50 yards away, they're throwing it with the same intensity. I think Trevor does a really good job of setting guys up and making sure that he throws the ball that's going to be completed. And I think that's what separates him. Having a good quarterback is what separates you and makes your job easier at fullback.
James Coleman on the fullback on FSU and also on his Community Give Back Weekend 2023. That's happening tomorrow at Long Branch Elementary and then Sunday with a football camp at University Christian School. Still spots available. Go check out JamesColemanGivesBack.com. Good luck with the weekend, man. Thanks for jumping in for a few.
I appreciate you.
That is James Coleman. And again, JamesColemanGivesBack.com. Good stuff with the fullback. That Derek Parrish transition that's got to be hard, man. Like we talk about it the other day in the conversation of Josh Peterson, right? He, by trade, is a tight end. He's trying to make it in the NFL. The difference, and this obviously got tied into Tebow a little bit with the urban stuff, is Tebow was trying to transition to a new position.
Yeah.
On top of everything else, right? In front of the microscope of microscopes. The one nice thing about the Parrish kid is he can kind of settle in and bring him along. And heck, even if they had to put him on a practice squad and until he comes along, they see something in him. And when we talked to Parrish at the end of OTAs, he said like he knew his senior year that this was going to be his future in the NFL. Wow. He wasn't big enough. He just wasn't long enough and big enough to play at this level. He's just going to be disqualified.
So he's been preparing for this for a little bit.
So yeah, he's kind of known. So he started to work on it and everything else. But that real thing is tough. That's an interesting point James brought up too about Trevor Lawrence's
the fastball,
but the changeup, the touch. Remember, there was a little bit of conversation, Kasey, Trevor's first year, that he didn't have much touch.
Yes,
which I thought was bogus. And I think he kind of proved that last year that he's got the touch. But I get what James is saying, and there are guys that have trouble with that. Some just don't have a strong enough arm to throw the fastball, but others don't know how to throw the changeup. And you know the guy that comes to mind right now who may struggle with this part, along with some other things in the NFL? Anthony Richardson. When Anthony Richardson throws it, he's trying to throw it, it looks like 85 yards every time. Now he flicks his wrist, and it goes 85 yards. But how do you pull back on that? Like, that's a tough thing. Like, there are guys in the big leagues that throw 103, 104 miles an hour. Can't control it and maybe can't throw a changeup. Like, that's a harder thing to do. But that also shows you some of the polish that Trevor has and,
some of the advanced skill,
if you will, right?
Yeah, a little differentiator. One of my favorite all-time Jaguars, by the way, a fullback out of FSU. But it wasn't James Coleman. It was Greg Jones.
Greg Jones, of course.
Love that guy.
We got him on the all Alley team.
Don't know what that means.
It means if you want to go get in a street fight, bring Greg Jones
bring
with
Greg
you.
Jones, huh? Nice. I like that.
By the way, that still holds true some 10 years after he's done playing.
I bet.
And everybody knows it. Brent Friends on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly cloudy today, some widely scattered showers and even a few thunderstorms. Highs in the upper 80s to low 90. 80s to 70s this evening, partly to mostly cloudy, an isolated shower, but overnight we drop down to the mid-70s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. For a limited time, get 5 years, 0 interest, only at Beards Diamonds.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Ready for a helpful tip? If you've got to drive it, rent it with Rent a Toyota at Arlington Toyota. Whether it's a car for a business trip, an SUV for an outdoor adventure, or a spacious minivan for that family vacation with all the stuff. If you've got to drive it, rent it with Rent a Toyota at Arlington Toyota. Rent a Toyota at Arlington is the best way to try it before you buy it. You can even rent 2023 models, and Arlington's competitive rental rates will put you behind the wheel with ease. Reserve your rental online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
What's your name? Leonard Skinnard. Live in concert. Second show added by popular demand. October 5th at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Celebrating 50 years of Leonard Skinnard. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
There are 16 spots in the playoffs and just one track left. Well, not just any track.
We're basically going to have to win.
Daytona. A last chance to keep playoff hopes alive.
1 point to the good.
And for fans to experience an event unlike any other. Yeah! NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 25th and 26th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital, CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial *invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Jaguars football is right around the corner. After an exciting playoff run last season, optimism is at an all-time high. Tailgaters is right across the street from Everbank Stadium, offering clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on well-kept grass lots. Every game at Tailgaters is a championship experience. Demand is high following last year's historic season, so spaces are very limited. Secure your parking today at tailgatorsparking.com. If you wait, you're going to miss out. tailgatorsparking.com.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio for their news, weather, sports, and a community connection. It's the backbone of the emergency alert system. It's critical that we keep AM radio in cars because when cell and internet services are down, this free emergency service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
When history repeats itself, so does care. Since 1945, when the original care package inspired a spirit of shared humanity around the world, care has seen war and famine, pandemics, and natural disasters. But we've also seen the power of hope and resilience. Now, CARE works in over 110 countries, reaching over 170 million people. but we need you to help everyone reach their full potential. Join at care.org.
Tonight, I've got a bonfire at the lake with friends. First, I need a spritz of my off-clean feel. My summer style is all about fun and not about... I don't need mosquito bite red clashing with this crochet top. It's purple, it's bright. I could definitely pair it with my amethyst eyeshadow palette. The best part is, ugly mosquitoes won't be messing with my fiery vibes. With off-clean feel, I've got 8 hours of not sticky, fragrance-free protection. Get your pre-party protection on with off-clean feel. SC Johnson, a family company.
At SimpliSafe, we've designed award-winning home security with advanced sensors, HD cameras, and now this 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Government Mule. The Dark Side of the Mule Tour is coming to the St. Augustine Amphitheater on Saturday, October 14th, and ESPN 690 has your chance at tickets to see the show. Visit the contest page at ESPN690.com and register now for your chance to win tickets to see Government Mule at the Amp.
Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martin, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kurtz, heading into the weekend. And hopefully it's going to be a good one for you. First weekend in August. 3 weeks from tonight. Today's the 4th, right? Yeah, 3 weeks from tonight, high school football starts. How about that?
That came quick.
College football right around the corner as we know it. And the Jags play a football game a week from tomorrow. They'll be in the stadium tomorrow. So, good stuff.
Speaking of Dallas, you know who I feel bad for? Dak Prescott. So Dak's getting beat up all offseason for the interceptions.
Of course.
Then he makes that statement a couple of weeks ago that he's going to improve. He promises he's going to throw less than 10 interceptions this year. Now every time the man throws a pick in training camp, there's a whole Twitter thread and debate about it. Every errant throw in the preseason for Dak now is under the microscope.
Yeah, which is a little crazy. I think it's a bit overboard for Dak Prescott.
He's got a resume.
If it was Zach Wilson or somebody, I could see it, right?
Sure you
could. If it's Dak, Dak at multiple times in his career was like on MVP kind of pace with his numbers.
Totally.
You know? So we'll see where it goes, but he's got to pull himself. He's got to turn it. You know, this is not much different than the Tony Romo career in Dallas.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Like,
the
Tony
great
was
numbers
good.
in season,
player.
and then can't do it in the playoffs.
But if you don't win in Dallas, sorry.
Here's the other part of it.
Aikman did it. Staubach did it. I mean, they've got a history of doing it.
And then the other part of it is that you just shipped out Kellen Moore.
Yeah, but that's a McCarthy thing. I mean, that's why it's all or nothing for him.
Well, to the point, any adjustments you got to make now, who's to say that's a better situation for him?
Yeah, we'll find out if it is. Hall of Fame snubs. Got a couple.
Well, we had the Hall of Fame game last night. You got the new crop coming in. That's the hot topic. It's what I thought you were getting to the other day. A lot of people think there are too many guys in the Hall of Fame. Are you one of those guys?
I'm not. No, I don't care. I have two things: Hall of Fame and the pride of the Jags. Say right. I think there are a lot of people in town that really are so picky about that pride of the Jaguars, and I'm not saying anybody should get in. I am a lot less picky. I think you should.
It's about feeling good about
players,
the franchise,
right? And play I think there's a lot of debate whether a guy like Brad Meester should be in or not. I don't think there's any debate at all. I really don't. So I think it's funny how some people have varying opinions on this. The Hall of Fame stuff, there's too many guys in. Yes, it is the Hall of Fame of great players. But greatness is going to be very subjective to all of us. I told you. I mean, I'm a Dolphins fan at the time, so I'm a Zach Thomas fan. And I'm still saying, I don't know. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer in my mind, at least when I was watching him. Then you start throwing the stats out, the accolades and everything else. And I get it. I get it. If I was in Miami or if I was still a Dolphins fan, I'd be advocating for him to be in the Hall of Fame. So I am certainly okay with more Hall of Famers than not.
Yeah, your position's a little bit interesting to me because I know that you want some guys in there who aren't in there, specifically guys like Fred Taylor.
Yeah.
Maybe even Tom Coughlin, although I haven't asked you your opinion on that.
Tom will be in,
yeah,
but there's some traffic to get in because that's a tough category, the way they set it up. It's like 12 guys for one spot, but Tom Coughlin absolutely should be in the Hall of Fame.
So then I'm curious how you feel about some of these other names that are currently snubs, especially among the 2023 snubs. I got like Reggie Wayne. Do you feel like Reggie Wayne belongs in the Hall of Fame?
I say no on my name test. Again, this is how I do it. You say a name, I'm like, eh. And then you're going to throw numbers at me that probably solidify his place in there.
I mean, I don't know if they solidify it or not, but it's certainly similar to other guys who are in.
I thought he was like the fourth best guy on that offense. Peyton, Harrison, Edger, and James, and then him.
Yeah, I think those three are in front of him for sure. I don't know if that...
But they're all in.
Yeah, I don't know if that means he should be out or not. It's a 6-time.
I mean, the whole Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s ended up in.
Right. 1,500 receiving yards in 2007, 8 seasons with at least 1,000 receiving yards, 14-year career with the Colts, 211 regular season games, second in Colts history, right behind Marvin Harrison in receptions, receiving yards as far as Colts history goes. Of the eligible receivers in the 14,000-plus receiving yards club, Reggie Wayne joins Andre Johnson and Steve Smith Sr. as the only eligible pass catchers not to make the Hall of Fame yet. I believe Steve Smith should be in there. He's another name on here.
Yeah, he's in big time for that organization especially, right? Carolina.
Sure. But I believe he should be in there more so because he wasn't a stereotypical
I like that.
physical specimen as a wide receiver, and he dominated.
But I would say this, too. There's two things here now when it comes to receivers, and especially in a Steve Smith category. Because Carolina has a little bit of a Jags-type problem where they're kind of forgotten about at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they weren't very good they've had their years, but they're not, like, always good. And I'm thinking, like, back, like, when Steve Smith's in his heyday, it's like, yeah, good receiver, but not, like, great receiver. Like, are you, like, great receiver? Like, I had to be convinced almost.
Smith?
Numbers, and Steve Smith had to convince me that he was as great as he told everybody he was.
5 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pro teams.
Yeah, like I said, very good. Again, you're going to have the numbers to support. There wouldn't be snubs if you didn't have the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, in the time that he's playing, I'm not thinking Hall of Fame guy.
Yeah, I'm buying him. He was dominant, and he shouldn't have been. It was all hard on that guy. That's a guy I want in the Hall of Fame. I'll tell you a name who I don't think belongs in the Hall of Fame, who's on this list, little Jaguars connection, Torrey Holt. Great wide receiver. Played for some great Rams offenses. I don't know if he's a Hall of Fame guy.
That's a little bit of it with Holt. It's like the greatest. Like one of the great offenses of all time.
Sure.
Right?
But like how much do you put on Warner? How much do you put on, who is it? Mike Martz was the offensive coordinator, the head coach?
He was the head coach at the time, yeah.
And then Isaac Bruce was part of that offense, was he not?
And I think he's in.
And then they had Marshall
Did Bruce
Faulk.
get in?
I'll take a peek. But they had Marshall Faulk as another Hall of Famer as part of that offense. So I don't know if I'm giving it to Torrey Holt on that. He's a great wide receiver, like a wide receiver one for a large part of his career, but Hall of Famer. I'll tell you another guy who's on the fence as far as I'm concerned, because it wasn't, for me at least, so much the numbers, touchdown, yards, receptions, but the name,
Isaac
the name
Bruce
test.
Is in, by the way.
Isaac Bruce
He
is in.
just got in recently, yeah.
Hines Ward.
Yeah, interesting one.
Now, that's a dude who will smack your head off.
Right?
Like, you better have your...
Different, but a lot alike, too, in many ways.
Yeah, a little bit.
But again, I'm not, like, dynamic. And here's the problem with receivers. These other guys are all going to start passing them by big time. They're going to dwarf the numbers.
But that doesn't mean these guys shouldn't get in because for the time.
But they better get in sooner than later is my point.
Because what
the
you'll
numbers are
also
gonna start
find,
looking worse.
what you'll also find in 20 years is that we're starting to put running backs in who are averaging 800 rushing yards a season, but 1,700 scrimmage yards.
Well, you think the contract stuff with running backs is something? Wait until the Hall of Fame stuff comes up and one doesn't make one for 20 years.
See, that'd be wild, right? You have a whole chasm of running backs in there.
You could go a long way.
I got a pair of defensive Colts for you before we wrap it up because I think these guys kind of belong in.
Feels like if one goes in, the other should.
Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis.
Freeney's the bigger name and the bigger star. I don't even know if his numbers are that much more than Mathis.
So for Freeney, you're talking about leading the NFL in a couple of years with sacks, 1 year with 125 and a half career sacks, puts him at 18th all time. 47 career forced fumbles, ranked fourth most by any player since 2000.
How many sacks does Mathis have?
Won a Super Bowl. Looking at Mathis.
123.
So they're right there.
Wow, right next to each other.
Wow.
Huh?
But doesn't Freeney feel like the bigger star
Mathis,
from that time?
54 forced fumbles, the most in NFL history.
I do think they are very much, if one goes in, the other should go in.
Yeah, very similar.
And to Kasey's point, if you're getting 125, 123 sacks, you're going in.
You got to get in.
And there's like Super Bowl and accolades and forced
They won a
fumbles
Super
and
Bowl,
other stuff. Like there's
Pro
other
Bowls.
stuff. So like those guys have to be in.
Yeah, I mean, from just the accolades, like Freeney just edges him out. Like he's a 3-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler. Roberts 5 Pro Bowls and 1. So
I just go back to what you asked. I think you asked a great question. Should more people be in? And it might not just be football, it might be Hall of Fames in general. Like, I get it. It shouldn't be the Hall of very good.
Yeah, I like the exclusiveness.
But very good versus great is very subjective.
Nah, I don't think it should be
Your greatness
great.
actually gets magnified once you get in.
Yes.
But now all of a sudden you feel better about Freeney and feel better about Steve Smith and feel better. You'd say, oh, they were great. But it happens after the fact.
Yeah.
You've got to decide that. And I think there are plenty of players like that fit like, yeah, I felt like they were really, really, really good. And now that you put the Hall of Fame jacket on, I'm like, that's a great player. Zach Thomas, that will happen to. I think Isaac Bruce is in that category. Like, if Isaac Bruce is in, Torrey Holt probably should be in. I don't even have their numbers right next to him, but I feel like a lot of the same guy. I think Freeney and Mathis should be in. Like, yeah, I would have a hard time saying no to a lot of these guys.
I'm good with snubs. I'm good with it being a hyper-exclusive club. It's not just the greatest players to play the game. It is the pinnacle of the time.
The problem is with it, and again, we just did this with Baselli for a long time. You could talk to so many people that said Baselli's a Hall of Famer, that said Baselli's one of the greats of all time, even if it wasn't the longevity and everything else. So you start picking their games apart. And then the other side of it is when you only let 5 in a year, well, now you squish it down. And now you're basically making a guy wait that we know is getting in. Like Baselli was always getting in. He was a finalist every year, and finalists usually get in. So why are we waiting? Like, we know he's going to get in, but it took, 7 years to get in? Like, I don't understand why we have to play that drama out for this event.
Are you a fan of the at-large selectors as a form of how these guys get in, or would you like to see that change?
I don't mind the well, you mean like for the 5?
Or the people who select who gets in.
I think it's a hard deal. Like, I know there's been a lot of people say players should do this. Whatever. Yeah, but players are pretty, players are not objective at all sometimes. Like, they got their buddies. They've got stupid reasons, much like voters have, of why a guy's good. I mean, all you got to do is look at the top 100. The players do that, I think, right?
Yeah, so why not after each season have the players, coaches, front offices vote on the top guys of the year, not based on metrics, but based on their eye test, their performance as football players. And then, you use that as the leading data to throw people in 20 years later. Like, you make some kind of points system out of that. Well, here comes Robert Mathis. He led the league in these points 7 out of 9 seasons. He should be in.
I think because it's really hard to do.
Because we're taking these polls every season.
Let me ask you this. If you're pitching for Calais Campbell, if I'm pitching for him, I mean, I'm sending that guy to the Hall tomorrow. There are many people that will not, based on the resume. If you throw it to the players and coaches, everybody's sending them in. Like, there's just no criticism.
That should tell you something.
Well, it does tell me something. He should be in.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with him being in. But I think you'd get that magnified to a point where you're like, wait a minute, why is that dude getting in? Like, all-world teammates are getting in. Maybe because they're all-world teammates and other biases more so than the numbers and the critiques.
I really dislike any sport, and really everyone does them, Case. I hate every sport that uses journalists to choose the Hall of Fame.
I don't think it's the greatest way.
I agree with that.
It's so annoying.
But what's the better way?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Also, I think this is going to be unpopular. I think the Hall of Fame's mid at this point. Every sport.
Every sports? I know you had a problem with baseball.
The Hall of Fame in baseball means absolutely nothing. In football, it still means a little bit.
I feel like the Hall of Fame in baseball is more of like a history book than it is a Hall of Fame.
Well, it is until they don't, except that they don't put like Pete Rose in it.
That's why, right. So
Idiots,
you've got
or steroid guys.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is like a history book.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, these things are museums at the end of the day, too. Like, it's obviously a crowning achievement.
But it does feel
they
like
do tell the history of the game.
Fair. But it feels like the Basketball and Football Hall of Fames are more about celebrating the best players of all time, and baseball is more about this is the story of baseball.
Yes.
Well, the one thing I would say, and I know you feel this way, Kasey, because of guys like Roland getting in and stuff like that.
He's stuck in his arm last year.
You know what? That's fine. Like, there are players like that.
There's 50 examples of that, and there's the best players that ever played just not getting in, like you just said.
But in part, the reason why there are more examples of that as of late is because of the steroid era. Like, they just eliminate some of the top players of all time in baseball, and then sooner or later you go like 5 years, you're like, we need somebody to go in the Hall of Fame.
And that's where it goes back to Aaron's point. You shouldn't let writers vote on this crap, because why do they get to decide what steroid guy gets in or doesn't?
Especially when they're like serving these 25-year-long grudges against players who didn't give them a quote after the game.
Exactly.
It's like, stop it.
I believe that with Barry Bonds 100%.
100%.
People hate Barry Bonds because he's not a great dude.
Well, he's got two things on him.
But let's push Scott Rowland.
And his head was a watermelon. I mean, like, you got
okay,
two things.
but it's not like he wouldn't be the first steroid guy in the Hall of Fame. And if you hear him talk now, just how open he is about that whole experience of what happened, to me, has earned him the right to get into the Hall at this point.
Well, I don't care if I like the guy or not. That's not the point. I mean, in my opinion of the Hall of Fame, listen, I'm with you guys on a lot of this. Like, I think they should have a steroid wing to the Hall of Fame. I've advocated that for a long time. I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, this stuff, it's not the Hall of, like, hey, we want to go to a community event and showcase the great characters of all time that played our sport and also were good. Like,
it's a terribly long name for a building, by the way.
We don't need to be a team captain.
You know, big marquee for that name.
But
you're going to sponsor it.
I also don't mind. Like, yeah, Scott Rowland, guys like that are debatable. I agree.
They're not debatable. They're not Hall of Famers.
Yeah, they're all stars.
But I'm not upset by it. Like, I don't mind it. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't dilute the Hall of Fame.
Doesn't cheapen it for you?
What cheapens the damn Hall of Fame is guys like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens aren't in. Yeah. And Pete Rose aren't in. That cheapens the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It both absolutely do, in my opinion. And I think you're getting there with these other sports. Like, there are guys on here that are Hall of Famers, but when you compare them to other guys that are in, like, there's guys that Reggie Wayne blows away. It's not close statistically. And I know it's a different era. I understand all those things. But how are you going to have a guy in that had thousands of receiving yards less and double-digit touchdowns less? He's a Hall of Famer, but Reggie Wayne may not be.
It's okay if at that time those numbers were the pinnacle of the sport to me. If, let's say you're talking about a guy who played in 1960.
Sure.
And, like, the best receivers are averaging 6,000 receiving yards and whatever the number was. I'm throwing out stupid numbers. And let's say this guy averages 8,000. That is a different performance than just comparing it to today.
Do you like the way, and we got to get out of here, but do you like the way that the golf does it? Like, where there's, like, metrics to hit? Or maybe, is that the Women's Golf Hall of Fame? Or
there's only one Golf Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So, like, you have to hit certain, like, majors, wins, other things, I think, to even be in, like, consideration.
That's how every sport should be. Baseball, you need 3,000 hits, you need 500 home runs, you need X amount of wins, you're in. Otherwise,
that's
you're not
unspoken,
in.
right?
I wonder if it would be better.
What do you mean it's unspoken?
Like, that's not necessarily...
no, it's not true anymore.
No, that's what he's saying. It should.
But it should.
Yeah, but then Sandy Koufax
yeah.
wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, even though he was great for like 6 years. And Barry Sanders wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, even though he was great for like 6-7 years. And Megatron wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, even though he was great.
And you make one exception, two exceptions. You don't make 85 because you need to put somebody in this year. Like, there's clear that Barry Sanders is a Hall of Famer, even though he played a shorter amount of time. But that doesn't then open the door for these other people that aren't Hall of Famers. They're Pro Bowlers, okay. But just because Barry Sanders played a short career, he got in, I should get in. That's not how it should work.
I think it's the argument that will live forever. Like, I don't know if anything's changing.
No. They'll just keep putting people in.
There's always going to be like this crazy debate of where you sit on this topic.
And then if you tell me they like that, now I'm buying it with you. I don't believe it on the NFL and the bad ref calls, but I believe it on this.
Brent Friends on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
I get a call from my wife saying my son's been in an accident. I got to the ER, and that's when I found out what kind of shape Dakota was in. He had several injuries. He had a stroke from the accident, and then he went into a coma. The accident has changed his life tremendously. He lost pretty much every friend he had. We pretty much take care of him. There was a lot of unanswered questions, and I needed somebody to get to the bottom of it. I don't know what we would have done if it hadn't been for Morgan & Morgan.
I've been at this for a long time. And over time, I like to think of the hundreds of thousands of clients that we've helped. My office and home are full of scrapbooks and pictures of you and your families. And I love when I bump into so many of you later in life. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. We'll always be here for you.
We always felt like somebody was there for us.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The kids are the latest in the Martineau household to get a car from Nimnick Buick GMC. That happened back in December. They absolutely love it, and they're having a fantastic summer. Hope you're having a fantastic summer. And if you're in car shopping mode, you know where to go. Nimnick Buick GMC. You can try them out at nimnickbuickgmc.com or check them out and what's on the lot on Phillips Highway. Also, if you're looking for a used car, plenty available under $18,000. It's the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville, nimnickbuickgmc.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Mike Lester, you are the founder of Talon Wealth, but you were not born with a subscription to the Wall Street Journal and a calculator in your hand. So what was your first job as a teenager?
Mowed yards. Of course, I couldn't drive. I was probably 12, 13. I had a skateboard. I could basically get everything on that lawnmower and drag myself on the skateboard to whatever lawn I had to mow.
Get to know Mike and the other Talon Wealth fiduciaries at guardingyournestegg.com.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Oftentimes, the wheelchairs our veterans and first responders receive from their healthcare providers are subpar at best. Some are falling apart, with a years-long waiting list for a new one. This lag causes a tremendous amount of stress for our heroes and creates a burden for their caregivers. Isolation leads to depression. We build what they need to get outdoors, hunting, fishing, or playing sports. Join the mission at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump again.
At America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you need in a snap, and it'll show you how to find it in store with a tap. Or get it delivered free. For doing that doesn't stop, download the Home Depot app. It's made for doing.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump again.
At America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690. Everybody's really jumped on that Doug Peterson soundbite on Travis Etienne, huh?
Yeah, it took a day, though.
Yeah, it's funny how things get... Like, this is how the media does work sometimes, and things kind of evolve into their own little story. Like, if you go back and listen to that Doug Peterson soundbite, like, he does mention 1,600 yards, 1,700 yards.
Kind of whispered. He's throwing it out there a little bit.
But the way, like, it's being perceived, I think I've even seen some headlines on some of the national shows, like,
Peterson says ETN will be better than Jacobs. Yeah.
It's just like, wait a minute now. That's not. I don't think that's the way, the context of it all. It's just funny how sometimes you can see why these guys do get a little bit like, what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
Right?
And Doug is actually really careful with his words up there.
He is. He is. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. And again, this is coming from a big ETN fan in terms of how underrated I think he is looked at times or is perceived around the National Football League. I wonder if that will put a little target on him or an expectation on him.
Probably.
Because this is not an offense where I think ETN's going to run for that kind of yards. Now, do I think ETN could do that in the National Football League in a specific offense? Yeah, I think he probably could. Again, I made the argument he was close to it last year if he played the whole season.
Sure. That's why Doug was making the argument.
It may be. But I still put the number, like I'm still somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 total yards.
All-purpose yards.
Is fine. 1,250-ish rushing. I'd like to see more on the receiving end from him.
Yeah, I got to believe that's coming this year.
Well, I think. But they keep adding running backs to the stable, man. And they got enough guys to throw it to. Football at 5 on the way, including an interesting note from Johnny Manziel. And also some X's that we will get to. Those are tweets, folks. Football at 5 next on ESPN 690.
I'm Mark Anajar.
I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Eli Anajar.
And we're Anajar and Levine. Experience the Anajar and Levine difference by calling us with any of your legal needs. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Skip the hassle of constant cleaning and costly repairs and sell your home stress-free with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry, so you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. Don't worry about the hassle of constant cleaning and making costly repairs. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Certain restrictions apply.
For more than a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. More than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. AM radio is also the backbone of the emergency alert system, which keeps us safe in dangerous times. It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Why can't I just speak to an actual human being? I need a new bank.
Well, actually, at One-to-One Financial, communication is not only number one, it's one-to-one. When you call, you get to talk to a real live Jacksonville human, fast, and with someone who's truly concerned about your needs, your security, and finding solutions as a team.
Thank you.
Ready to break up with your bank? Find a real, long-term banking relationship at One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit one-to-one-fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
It's not just a sale. It's the National Sales Event, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Arlington's got over 400 new Toyotas available. Camrys, Corollas, Tundras. I think you should take a test drive today. Plus, with every new Toyota purchase at Arlington, you get Arlington's lifetime warranty and 30-day exchange program. That's 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. The National Sales Event is here, and you don't want to miss it. Shop today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
What's your name? Leonard Skinnard. Live in concert. Second show added by popular demand. October 5th at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Celebrating 50 years of Leonard Skinnard. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Dig Local believes community gardens, farmers markets, and nutrition education are sustainable routes to a future where everyone can eat better. Shop the Beaches Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road, just north of Beach Boulevard, for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, ready-to-eat snacks and drinks, and local artist craft goods. If you have an EBT card, stock up on free fruits and vegetables and edible plants. Go to diglocal.org to learn more.
Hi, this is Stan Nagel for Energy Seal Foam Insulation. Do you have a metal building that you're burning up in? Call us today and let us fix it. Call Energy Seal to have spray foam insulation applied to your metal building. 888-306-3626. EnergySealToday.com. 888-306-3626.
Blue Star medicated ointment gets 5-star reviews from our loyal users for fast relief of the pain and itch of almost any skin irritation.
Blue Star soothes insect bites and fungal infections.
It really works on the summer rashes I get every year.
I had psoriasis on my elbows. Blue Star worked wonders.
Amazing stuff. Smear a bit on and the itch is gone.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast, or your money back.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Anthony Davis will get a 3-year max extension with the Lakers worth $186 million. When he signs, Davis will be under contract for 5 years, $270 million. According to ESPN's Pete Thamel, the Big Ten could vote as early as tonight to officially admit Oregon and Washington into the conference. And Arizona could be heading to the Big 12. ESPN's Adam Rittenberg.
There are some of those in the higher corners of the Big Ten, schools that certainly pop out a little bit that are concerned. I've been told about the idea of adding Oregon and Washington so fast. I've heard words like rushed and reluctant. When speaking to some sources around the league today.
Adam Rittenberg. In a new Netflix documentary, 2012 Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Manziel says he attempted suicide after he was cut by the Browns in 2016. Manziel was a first-round pick for Cleveland after starring at Texas A&M.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kurtz. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
I know we're back, Kasey. We're talking about how to become a billionaire.
Or what to do when you're there.
Yeah, we actually didn't talk about how to do it.
That's true.
Just who we're going to call for some help.
But I figured if the how to become a billionaire would really get the attention of all our listeners and viewers, and maybe we'll tell you how. I got an idea.
Oh, okay.
I want to tell you what to do with your money, but I want to play the Mega Millions tonight.
It's ridiculous.
$1.25 billion. There we go. We weren't even talking about the lottery.
Nope.
You know what's interesting to me about the lottery stuff?
What is interesting to you about the lottery?
We've had this conversation before about even my mom said, "Oh, I got to go. Great, I got to go spend another $4 on my numbers." Nobody won. She's almost like rooting for somebody else. I go, well, first of all, you don't have to, Mom, but it's not like she plays the lottery all the time. We only play it when it gets to $1 billion. Like it just catches our attention.
It's kind of like my wife.
FOMO. But I think the Powerball is 10 times more promoted than Mega Millions. Like, I didn't even see for 2 days that nobody had won.
It's a different world for me. I have no idea what's happening there.
Me neither.
Like every couple of months, I'll get a push notification. It goes $1 billion, and I'm like, cool. I have no idea what it is.
It doesn't do anything for you. You don't want to buy a ticket today.
No, I feel dumb.
I don't think there's any amount of money that the jackpot could be that I would buy a ticket.
I can do some scratchers now. Scratchers
you of all
are fun.
people. This is disappointing.
You can get with a scratcher though, right, Case?
Oh,
little scratch off.
I can get with all the scratchers.
Yeah. But lotto just seems dumb.
That's my favorite thing. Sometimes
I occasionally trade in my volunteer hours here for scratchers.
Yeah,
I know you do.
Hey,
well, it's a good investment in your future, bro.
Do you go to casinos at all?
Yeah, if the opportunity presents itself.
Do you like slots?
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a common thread between people who like slots and scratch-off tickets.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because, like, I don't like slots, and I hardly have ever bought a scratch-off.
I like a scratch-off, but I hate slots. Slots
Really?
just feels like I'm feeding money to like a bottomless machine.
Boy, but then you hear it go. You're like, hey.
The problem with the slots is it feels like it sounds like you won when you haven't.
That is true. You win 45 cents, you're like, oh, this is kind of gas. I wanted to do that again.
I like a scratcher because you could take every superstition you've ever had and just use it on one thing. Like you could scratch with your left hand with a leg up, with the lights half on, and you know you're going to win $1.
That's true.
It's fun. There's suspense there.
I don't know if I like this, but every once in a while you go to the whatever gas station store and there's somebody in there and they're like, yeah, I'll take 33 and 48 and 50. They're there for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's a thing.
I mean, the scratch off thing is a thing. Like you talk about, might have an issue.
I had a friend like this who was addicted where like we go to the store, he'd be going to pick up a pack of smokes or something like that, but you'd lose him in the store for 20 minutes. You'd be like, where is this guy? And you'd go in there and he's just chewing the ear of the guy behind the register while he does a scratcher. It's like, can we go? No one wants to hang with you here.
Yeah. I used to tell the old story. I used to go up to the gas station and get a soda on the break or on a commercial break at the old place. And then I usually could make it back. But then I'd get behind the guy with the scratch-off tickets.
You're in trouble
and
now.
I'd be like, I missed a whole damn segment. I wanted to throw like $5 on there for my soda. Just can I go?
Give it to the scratcher guy.
That's an interesting dynamic, though. You don't buy. You'll go spend community service hours up here on scratch-off tickets, but you won't buy a lottery ticket that could win you $1.25 billion.
Here's the problem for me with the lottery ticket case. I don't know if it's the same for you. You might buy that lotto ticket in the morning or the afternoon, and then you're just waiting hours to find out if you win. Stinks.
Yeah. Well, the funniest thing is I buy them.
Yeah, it's not.
And I never even look at them.
No, that's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. You could have thrown away billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do eventually look at them, but they pile up. Because I'm like, hey, if it rolls over again and it doesn't go back to like 20 million, I know I didn't win.
You sometimes see these viral videos of like family members getting tricked into thinking by other family members they've won the lotto. Don't you feel like you're allowed to really harmfully assault someone if they do that to you?
Yes.
Like that is as close as you can get to legal murder, in my opinion. Look, if someone convinces you're going from Kasey to
Shad Khan.
300 millionaire to Shad Khan billionaire.
That's a big jump.
Yes, and then goes, ha ha, just kidding. Come on, you're going to put the car through the window.
Yeah.
Yes, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think the reason I'm out on it is like the other stuff that I spend community service hours on, like the scratcher, right? When I scratch it, and I don't even spend a lot on scratch, like I really don't. But I know when I scratch it, there's going to be something under there. I'm either going to win or I'm going to lose.
Yeah, yeah.
Sports, dude's either going to strike out guys or he's not.
Depends on what you bet.
I got no proof that they're going to, like, that the winning numbers could even possibly be in there, in that combination or whatever. There's no proof of that.
Yeah, and
he doesn't trust
it.
The
one thing about
I don't
the
trust
lottery,
it. And nobody wins, so, like, I feel like more people should be like, are the numbers in there?
Yeah.
Because, like, nobody's winning this stuff.
Good call. Like, how has nobody won yet?
Right.
Right? I do ask that question. That's fair, too.
Like, there's no shot.
And here's the other thing. Like, I've played a decent amount of times.
Thousands, maybe.
Nah, not that much. Like, I'm not crazy.
I've been in your truck. You got a lot of tickets.
I do have a lot of tickets. I've played a lot of times. And I swear I can go, like, play 20 times and not even get a damn number.
That's what I'm saying.
Not one.
Yeah.
Like, one's not going to win you anything anyway. But I can't even get one.
That's exactly why I'm out. Because at least on a scratcher, I'm at least going to get a number. I need 3 of them. I might only get one. But I'm like, hey, you know what?
I'll
they're
tell you,
there.
if you're watching that thing, if you're like really, because there's some diehards now. In this
Oh,
stuff, right?
sure.
If
People
you're
who
watching
DVR it and then check it out later.
I mean, listen, we get ratings pop on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Is that
at
for
11.
real?
Oh, heck yeah, we do.
Wow.
And can you imagine if you were watching and you did have like the first 4 numbers?
You probably pass out.
You start shaking.
I'm not passing. I'm watching that fifth number.
But then the disappointment when you don't get the 5th.
This is the whole premise
6th,
of my
right?
favorite show that I want to create, that I want to executive produce, Let You Down, where you trick someone into thinking their dream is about to come true, and then you pull it out from under them right at the end.
Let you down.
Let you down. Listen, here are some things that are statistically more improbable. You got to say you down. You got to do it with the emphasis.
You down.
Statistically more improbable than winning the lottery, okay? Or more probable than winning the lottery. Your odds of getting killed by a shark are higher in the lottery, which actually isn't saying much here in Florida because it happens like every 3 days. dying from a local meteorite.
Why do they all have to be death?
I don't understand what a local meteorite is. Are there meteorites from Nebraska? I thought they all came from outer space. How about getting struck by lightning? I mean, if you're a member of the Florida Panthers, then chances are you might get struck by someone on the lightning. But being dealt a royal flush. I play poker. That's rare.
Bad dad joke there, huh?
Yeah.
I'm a dad. What do you want from me?
I know someone that happened to, by the way.
Royal flush or lightning?
Royal flush. Dealt a royal flush.
Being offered a spot at Harvard University.
Just to be in there?
Wild to me that's 4th on this list.
Wow.
Talk about getting up. Maybe you shouldn't make it so hard to get into Harvard.
Yeah, no kidding. I thought that was for Florida.
Unbelievable.
It's hard to win the lottery.
Yeah, nobody wins.
What do you get? Because you don't even know they're in there.
And by the way, when you win, guys, it's almost always a disaster.
It is, yeah. I have really thought about that. Like, I don't want all of it. Can we split it?
I'll take it. Whatever you don't want, I'll take. I'll do the spillover.
I will do all the hard. I will collect it. I will do the weird, awkward, like media thing.
No. I'm not talking to anybody in the press.
No. I'll be the guy that, like, when they're like recording, that goes in to get the ticket. I will take that shot for you, Brent. I just need like 30%.
Oh, my mom.
Your bag of shots.
30. I'll give it to you. My mom was asking me, it's like, what if I go to like what if I win? Like, and
you get a gold-plated violin, right? Mama Martin.
Yeah, that's right. She would. There are some expensive violins, and she would
get them.
But she's like, should I tell the guy? I was like, no, don't tell the guy. It's like, well, he's going to
Just
know
walk
because
out
it's
of
going to
there.
rattle off in the machine. I was like, okay, well, why don't you just check the numbers yourself instead of going to the machine?
Everyone says if you win the lotto, the first call you make is to the lawyer, period.
Absolutely.
Hire the lawyer, let him take care of the
There's
rest.
a whole list. Like, I've been reading it just in case.
Oh,
this dude's
cool.
ready.
You're ready.
I am ready.
You're prepped.
I'm prepared to win the lottery.
That's great.
Yeah, it's too bad thing. One bad thing about winning the lottery, if you're like 85 years old and you win.
Oh, so you think that's bad? I'm sure they'd love it to like pass it around to loved ones, friends and family.
You know what? The more people I run into, they don't want to pass a lot of their stuff down to loved ones.
At 85?
There is no way at 85 years old you can watch them read all 5 of your numbers and not have a heart attack.
That's a good point.
There is no way you survive.
Good news. When you have a heart attack at 85, it's not fatal. Blood's thinned out. You're fine. It's like burping. I'm a doctor. Trust me.
What? Like what?
Is that real? And how do you know that?
Well, I
don't.
It is real that when you're older, your blood is thinner, and that where heart attacks are less fatal the older you get.
It's like burping.
It's like burping.
But I'm going to go ahead and say it's safe to assume that is hyperbole. It's not like burping. It's like having a heart attack.
What do you get if you get 4 of the numbers? How many numbers are there? 5?
No, I've looked at it. It's awful.
You get heartburn.
Like, it is awful what you get when you're almost there versus
you get
what
athlete's
you get.
foot when you get 4 of the numbers.
It's all or nothing.
It's
like there's
pretty
no way
much.
to like goof around and end up with like 500K.
I think there's
But
like
there is
4.
something
I think
like
there's
that.
4 numbers in the Powerball for like $1 million, or maybe it's a 5 straight, but
like a partial? Yeah.
Or maybe it's 100,000.
Or
I
like
don't
a
even know.
pick six,
The
and you
bottom,
get
I've
4
looked
out
at
of
it
them?
in the past, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I got like 4 numbers or 3 numbers in the Powerball, and I get like $68. Like,
hey, hold on, $68. That's a good day's work around here.
Hey, the guy that had a lottery ticket for a time was Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, he did. For real.
And now there's a documentary out on him.
So this is actually part of the series that I've been trying to get you guys to watch for 2 years now. This is the same series that did the Danbury Thrashers, I think.
Oh, okay,
These are the Untold Stories series on Netflix. A lot of times they'll do sports docs, and this is one of them. This is the story of Johnny Football. The trailer came out. Everyone's talking about it. Case got it loaded in the system. Case, let's take a listen to this trailer.
He's taken on Rolling Stones Beatles status. Manziel Madness has spawned the nickname Johnny Football.
Johnny Football.
Johnny Football. Johnny Football.
When I got everything that I wanted, I think I was the most empty that I've ever felt inside. I think the way that I played quarterback was just a different kind of football.
They couldn't stop him. He transcended college football and also sports.
But I had a bone to pick with the NCAA.
The organization continues to profit off student athletes. People have been making millions on the back of Johnny.
I remember this guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, I've got 30 grand for you to sign autographs. And once that happened for the first time, it was like game on.
After that, I saw a different side of him.
When you take one step onto a slippery slope, it goes pretty quick.
You have to be careful heaping too much expectations on a young man.
Johnny, I saying it was win or lose, we booze, and it was real true. It was just direct self-sabotage. It was probably a $5 million bender.
He had this fear in his eyes.
The money and the fame is eating him alive.
You have to look back and think, were you ever going to be satisfied? Was enough ever enough?
That's a wild story right there.
Well, on the heels of talking about the lottery, I mean, seriously, this is what
to go from having nothing
when you do have it.
Yeah, to go from having nothing to having everything.
It comes from, isn't the story on Manziel, he comes from a pretty wealthy family?
I believe so.
Was that the case?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I don't know in terms of $5 million benders. I don't think that wealthy. But the Manziel story is really kind of a sad one. Like, I think he's a punchline for so many years, especially in the social media world. And he talks about in this series about...
He's fairly open about it, yeah.
Yeah, how
I'd say he's a little more than fairly open.
Yeah, it's part of the recovery. I mean, anyone who goes through that process knows that you have to, like, open up and make your amends with what you did. Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen it with, like, Ryan Leaf has done that very publicly. But I kind of... don't you feel bad for a guy like Manziel?
No, totally. Well, look, he was kind of a villain, self-imposed, in college in his early days in the NFL. He was an early troll when trolling wasn't mainstream. And so people reacted negatively towards it. I don't know if you guys remember back when he was in college, they wouldn't let him talk to the press. It was getting him in trouble too much.
Yeah, he's a hard guy to, like... I look at Johnny Manziel and I always just thought immature.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet.
And just not ready to handle the spotlight that's thrown onto him because he's a very good football player. Now, some of it's his own doing, all this other stuff. A lot of it does come from immaturity. But I always have said this. This is harder than people think it is. It's not as easy as, like, Tebow made it look, right? Tebow could say the right thing, do the right thing, had a maturity about him to handle the spotlight. I mean, this is a mega spotlight, folks. If you think you can handle that at that age, I think you're lying. I really do. Like, I used to say this about Jameis Winston. Yeah, he made some stupid mistakes. But, like, we assume the guy at 19 years old is supposed to make all the right decisions in front of the whole world.
It is a weird juxtaposition.
It's an unfair thing.
It's not fair. And I think, if I had to guess, at least for myself, it comes from the fact that you grow up watching sports, and athletes are adults when you're a kid. And then at some point, you kind of pass them in age as you're watching sports.
Oh, yeah.
But mentally, for me, it took a long time after I passed them to recognize them not as adults, but as kids.
Listen, in a lot of ways, I still do that. I catch myself doing that, especially, I think, with football players.
Mm-hmm.
But football players are so big, right?
It just feels like it's an older person.
A lot of these guys, for much of my career, even here in Jacksonville, have felt like they're older than me.
Yeah.
They're just... And that's absolutely not true. Like, I'm older than all of them, or have been older than most of them. But they have to grow up fast. Like, you see it.
Oh, you're forced to.
You see with guys coming into the league now. I said it to someone the other day. Because of the phone, because of social media, these guys are all good in front of a microphone. I mean, not everyone, but most of them. Listen to our conversations we have, our interviews.
Sure.
Like, they're very good. High school interviews. Listen to those guys. It's unbelievable. It wasn't the case 10 years ago. No. It was hard in our business to do a high school kid interview. And it's not anymore. Like, that used to be the hardest interview you would do if you went to a practice and got a high school kid, because it was hard to get something out of them. Not at all. They know what it sounds like. They know what it looks like. They're not afraid of the microphone. They're not afraid of the camera.
But it's not the whole story. Like, doing the cover song of the interview doesn't make it so that you're protected now, because they're still not great for the most part on social media or in decision-making when you're 17 years old.
Right.
Or in decision-making when you have millions of dollars and you just went to the NFL, and all of a sudden now you got to be a pro because you're in the NFL, but you're still only 3 months older than you were when you were in college.
Yeah.
In the frat house.
$5 million bender.
This is crazy. I can't explain to you how in on this. Like, Johnny Manziel for me is like top 3.
If you had
Really?
$5 million to shred, what would you spend? Like, what would be a goofy thing you'd spend it on a bender?
Arby's.
Like if I but autographed ones from Ryan Gosling.
You finally buy something?
Yeah, I'd actually buy it this time instead of stealing it.
It's like a bathtub of Swedish fish.
I don't know what I would do, but I would waste it quickly. I would burn through it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'd go put it on black in Vegas.
Literally.
Like, you can't put that much on it.
Well, whatever the limit is, we're doing it, and then we're going to the next casino. Like, I'm going to ride that adrenaline roller coaster as much as possible. Because how often do you get a chance to blow through something like that?
Yeah, well, you shouldn't.
You should.
Obviously not.
I mean,
no,
you
it
shouldn't.
ruins the life and makes you feel like garbage. You heard him say it in the trailer. It's one of the reasons why I think it's going to be such a great documentary. You don't just get the fun ride, which is what I think a lot of people are interested in. I want to see the $5 million bender, what that looks like. But also you get the awareness that he said it, the more I got, the more empty I felt. And you hear this a lot about people who have wealth, like material wealth, but then are isolated. They don't have people around them they can trust or love. And humans need that. We're not isolated animals.
This happens, by the way, on the lower levels. Like I kind of talk about this a lot with people who retire. If you know people who retire, they're like, I'm going back to work. And it's not because they have a ton of money. It's because they're like,
need purpose.
Okay, now what? And so money doesn't change purpose, right? Unless you're going to go do some community effort, start a charity or things like that. And often these guys don't. I mean, to your point, you can only go on so many $5 million benders.
Yeah. And who you going with? Like, who you sharing it with when you got nobody? It's not as much fun.
So why was he, if you had to categorize why Manziel failed, this stuff contributes, right? I get it.
Which is this stuff? Get specific. What is this stuff?
Just his immaturity, his not being able to handle the spotlight the way you should.
Because I do think it's a recipe of things.
Yes.
But I guess my point is, take that recipe, and is that why you blame his failure? Or was he just not good enough as a quarterback to play in the NFL?
No, I think he was good enough.
Yeah, I don't believe
I think it was unforced errors, and I think it starts in college with the inflated ego and feeling like you're above it all. You're above the law, whatever the law is, whether it's actual law with police or the law of the land, the unspoken law. But whatever it was, he thought he was above it. He goes to the NFL. He's a talented dude. But that's when you realize you're one of hundreds. You're no longer one of 5.
Yeah, well, in that position, though, you have to be one of 1.
Yeah, at least on your team.
Yeah.
But
so you think he was not a good enough football player, Kasey?
No, I believe he was a good enough
You do
football
think
player.
so?
I believe that. Now, I don't know.
I
don't know that if he went anywhere other than Cleveland, it would have worked. But I think if he was anywhere other than Cleveland, he had a better shot.
Plus, he had Josh Gordon with him. Like that didn't work out well for either of those guys.
But I'm super intrigued from the part that he said in there, and then just I think this is where it all started. He said is when he got paid to sign autographs, because there are parts of that I have a little insight on from some of that stuff, and I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, it's a good thing you mentioned it. All right.
But I truly want to see, like he mentioned, was that the beginning of this whole thing?
That's how he said it.
I want to see
what
it
does
too.
that
Are you
mean?
in the video?
I'm not.
He goes, someone gave me $30,000 to sign autographs, and that was the beginning of the end.
Well, it's not only the beginning of the end. It's for him. It's the beginning of the beginning. I think when NIL comes into play, I think Manziel, in many respects, is like the poster child for it. I think he could have helped. I mean, Gurley. There's other guys, right?
Publicly, I would say Manziel.
Yeah, you can go way back, right? But again, this is something that
you're
people knew
close,
about,
yeah.
took on, and he was that guy. Like, he was the guy that was coveted, and he was a guy that, how much money would he have made with NIL at Texas A&M?
So much.
Crazy, right?
All of it.
See, the thing about it is I would say Tebow, and I've always used Tebow as his example when it comes to NIL. Like, how much money does he make for the University of Florida? Like, still today, probably, but definitely back then. Well, Tebow's kind of had this hands-off, like, hey, that's cool. Like, I got an education about it. Like, I wasn't asking for that. Manziel, I think, would be different than that. Manziel's like, yeah, let me get mine. And Manziel was big, man. I mean, he was as big as you could get for that stretch of football in college football. And I don't even know the price, NIL-wise, he would have right now. And I don't know if it would have started that way, say like the Ewers kid that went and got however much money he got from Ohio State and then go to Texas. but he might have earned his way into like a lot of money at the NIL spot. And by the way, if he did, does he ever even get drafted? Because he obviously has shown that he wouldn't have been able to handle it very well.
Well, I don't think it's the money that ruins the kid.
You don't?
I don't. No, I think things that he suffered with, whether it's the bad decision-making, the drug use, the alcohol addiction, those are hallmarks of depression, and I'm not sure if he had it or not. Maybe he talks about it in this documentary or doesn't, whatever that is, but if he's admitted that he attempted suicide.
Yeah.
And if you get there, that's not just because you got money and you don't know what to do with it. I think those problems exist before you start getting paid.
Well, that I don't know. I don't know what's first. Right, I don't know how that goes. I guess for each person,
I
it's
think
different.
it might
I don't know
add
what the
to
domino
it,
is
for sure. Right, like you feel more isolated, and that's what depression also does. And then suddenly things start to stack, and you're like, everyone would be better off without me, or I'm such an embarrassment. I just want to go to sleep for 50 years. Like those are depressive thoughts that people have. Those ideations, and I don't think they just happen to everybody who gets money, or else you'd see it a lot.
Oh, I get that. I understand that. I think it's a compilation of things. And again, I believe not only in the NIL stuff, and maybe I'm giving him too much credit for the NIL stuff, but he also is this example, and I don't even know how to describe the example, of social media. I mean, I believe many of the, again, I don't know his situation. I don't know what he had before, after, all this other stuff. But I got to believe part of the failure, part of the feelings, part of the what he had, certainly social media contributed.
I'm with you on that.
You know, I mean, he is living in that time. And again, that's something Tebow didn't even really have to live through at the start of it, right? In college, Twitter wasn't a thing in 2008, 2009 when Tebow's being glorified. And even, 10, 11, 12, it's probably pretty early still and not to the wave that it hits. Well, Manziel hits the wave.
Okay, and Tebow's first experience with social media was a little bit rocky. I think it was this issue he had with his girlfriend, and people were getting on him for whatever happened with his, I guess they had a relationship that wasn't a traditional relationship. But I don't see Tebow as a guy who's getting in trouble on social media, even if he came up in the heyday of it.
Well, I agree.
Okay,
yeah,
I do see like.
But he didn't have to deal with it to the degree this guy did. I'm saying.
Totally.
The failures. I'm talking about the failures because now again, Tebow got lambasted on social media
he did.
too.
He
but
got
by
mocked,
that time, he's like 25, 26 years old. He's already made a ton of money. He's already had a ton of great moments.
And also,
even in the NFL, he's had a good moment.
He's also got this perspective of there are more important things that I love.
He does. You're right. He has a
social
different
media.
purpose.
Yes.
You're right.
But Manziel, I'm sure he put a lot of value on what people were saying about him.
He probably did.
Yeah.
Probably did. Again, we don't know. This will be an interesting story to watch, but it makes you feel bad. Again, social media can be such a great tool, but we also know that it can be a harmful one.
Yeah.
And I think we think of it as kids or, people not in the spotlight. I think it's very harmful to people in the spotlight. And I think this is going to be a case to at least some contribution of that along the way, along with a lot of money, along with a lot of fame, along with a lot of failure to not meet expectation. And it really makes you feel bad for a guy who's still very young. Very young. And you hope that he comes out on the other side of it.
Well, he's playing now, isn't he? He's he's one of those leagues now? USFL, XFL?
Nah, he did like fan control.
Oh, fan control league.
Control thing,
yeah. That's what he did.
Yeah. Let's take a break. Football at 5 continues. Here on a Friday, we still got a review to get to. Like, this is not a one-word review. It's a different, this is a full review.
This is lots of words.
Meh.
You like that, Case?
Coming up next, or at least in a little bit, on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly cloudy this evening, an isolated shower. Overnight, we drop down to the mid-70s. An isolated shower on Saturday morning. Partly cloudy, a few afternoon thunderstorms develop. Hot and humid, though, in the lower to mid-90s. From the Action East Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. For a limited time, get 5 years, 0 interest, only at Beard's Diamonds.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Connecticut K5 drinking water system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Have you seen your financial freedom wiped out by stock market volatility? It's Rich Jones. Consider investing in real estate funds from DLP Capital. Don Wenner is CEO and founder.
DLP Capital has provided our investors with consistent double-digit returns by investing in cash-flowing residential real estate. For more than a decade, we have had zero losses, little volatility, and have shot above our return targets in all of our investment funds. Plus, we offer monthly distributions and tax shelter opportunities.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned is fighting inflation and saving you even more. That pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla you want to buy, it's not $1,000 down. Now it's just $500 down and $288 a month. Or you choose a pre-owned 2020 Camry, RAV4 or Tacoma, now just $500 down and $388 a month. With over 400 used cars in stock, plus more than 100 vehicles under $18K, Arlington's fighting inflation and saving you big time. 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/offers for full details.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TOOL for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TOOL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TOOL.
Hey, it's Brent Morton from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
It's one of my faves.
You like this?
I like this one.
I haven't labeled them yet. I like them all.
This is BM01, so this was the first one you decided to put in.
Oh. Yeah. Hey, we got a new text line in, 904-362-9901. You can text it. You can dial it each and every day, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. if Kasey opens the phone lines. If
That's
not,
a shot,
the text
Case.
is available.
It's a shot.
That's just full disclosure.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing.
It's taking shots, Case.
That's fine. It's Friday.
Hope you're listening to the new show here on ESPN 690. 12-1.
It's called One Word Reviews with Aaron.
Young and Norvell, joined Terry Norvell. 1 week in the books for Terry, and you can...
That's got to be exciting for them, right? New
Absolutely.
show,
Well,
first week.
We've been through that before. We love it.
It's fun.
There's a new energy about things.
Yeah.
There's an energy about things right now in Jacksonville anyway, for a lot of reasons around sports. Jacksonville Sharks play tomorrow night, 7 o'clock in the playoffs against Orlando. $15 for the tickets at Veterans Memorial Arena.
Can't get another for $15 these days.
No kidding. What can you get for $15?
$5. It's a bad investment, though.
Can you... McDonald's, you can still do it.
Yeah, that's like a meal. It used to be 3 of them.
I think actually, like you can kind of combine that whatever $1 menu or $2 menu or whatever menu.
Listen.
Keep telling yourself that.
I think don't they have 40 nuggets for $10?
It's like 12.
All right. That's under 15.
We did it the other night.
You cannot go to an actual restaurant for under $15. Like you can't get a burger for like...
No, the burger is
tax,
$15.
Yeah, it's probably
with
like
tax.
$15.
You can go burger, water. Well, with tip, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Because you can find the $11.99 burger.
I went to
water action.
I went to Buc-ee's today.
Hey, did they have the club melt?
They did.
That a baby Brent.
But next to Macon, Georgia, Daytona is the most
dirtiest place.
No, the busiest
Just
Buc-ee's.
guessing case. What's the matter?
But anyway, I had the triple or the XXL brisket, whatever, is like the big
brisket's pretty good.
Doesn't sound like something you would get.
Oh, the brisket's pretty good, Case.
$12.99 for the sandwich. $12.99.
Was it worth it, though?
Yeah, it was.
So it sounds like they could have charged
Buc-ee's
13.
is a little bit like a casino, you know? It's kind of like, just kind of throw the money around.
I haven't won any money at the Buc-ee's.
Nothing like
I don't know what time it is. I don't know how much money anything costs. I just I'm buying.
Brent's like, I've been here 4.5 days. Someone please come and help.
Buc-ee's. Let's get some X's.
Oh, yeah. I've got a job to do. Okay. Let's start with Connor Hughes. I love Connor Hughes. Covers the Jets.
Oh, we got a new person that you love.
Connor Hughes
a lot
used to
of
write
love
for
for
the
him.
Atlantic. Now he...
What happened to that other guy you loved on the Jets?
The Atlantic or the Athletic?
What are you talking about?
We had him on the show.
Did I say the Atlantic? Yeah. I meant the Athletic. Now he works for the New York Daily News. But the guy we had on the show is Jake Asman. But he works at ESPN Houston.
The Asman.
And he covers the Jets on YouTube.
Interesting.
He's not a writer.
Okay.
He's a YouTuber.
He's a YouTuber.
He's an influencer.
But he covers the Texans on the radio.
Yeah. And they let him down constantly. Yeah.
Nice. Good candidate for the show.
Yes. So Connor Hughes reporting on this Mekhi Becton story we talked about a little bit earlier, but just to revisit, because it was fun. Mekhi Becton says he's not hurt, but the turf at the stadium last night wasn't the best for someone his size or with his injury. He said he felt discomfort during warm-ups, so he didn't want to risk it. Guys, after the game, Mekhi himself said this is his new normal. He's just going to have to get used to feeling pain. He said he came out because the knee hurt. Robert Saleh said he came out because he had a confidence issue with the knee. Them not being on the same page can't speak well for the rest of his tenure with the Jets, can it?
Yeah, I think he's in trouble. And by the way, whatever happens in that, and sometimes this stuff gets conflicted in terms of postgame because the coach is trying to protect the player. Like
Didn't
Saleh,
sound like it, though.
I didn't take Saleh's words when I heard the soundbite earlier on the show. It's like, yeah, he's saying he's got to get some confidence playing with the knee, right? He's trying not to say he's too hurt to play or anything else. Like, I don't think he was bashing him, but...
All right, because it sounded like Becton took it as...
Oh, he did. That's my
Saleh
point.
doesn't believe I've got pain in the knee.
Yeah, but you know what happens here? This is what happens. Like, they do the presser with the coach first, and then the reporters go in and says, hey, Saleh said you don't have a lot of confidence. I go, okay. Well, then he's like, yeah, I have confidence. You know what I mean? So it just gets misconstrued a little bit. The bottom line here is, whether it's because the knee or maybe there is some disconnect, I just don't know how this is the answer on the offensive line for the Jets.
Well, they've been trying to trade the kid. I don't know that you can at this point. Not for what the Jets will want for him.
I'm not concerned about the relationship with the Jets. If I'm another team, I'm concerned about the knee. Like,
Right,
then the
but that's
knee
the
is a
point.
legit problem.
Like, if everyone's not even on the same page with the knee, like, how do you move them?
And nobody's going to trust it. I mean, obviously you could do a physical and everything else, but yeah.
Hopefully the big fella gets back on the field more
Do
consistently.
they have any other options depth-wise?
No. That's the point. Last year, they brought in Dwayne Brown, who was 38, and he tore his rotator cuff like 2 games into the season, played the entire season with a torn rotator cuff.
Just call it, buddy. You weren't winning anything.
Well, they gave him like all kinds of awards and bonuses for being a tough guy, so congrats. But then he tried to retire, and they begged him to come back. Shows you how much faith they had in Mekhi Becton.
The big ticket.
But he's on the PUP list. He's not ready to play.
No.
And Becton's not a starter. They got him like 4th on the depth list. You got Max Mitchell, who was a rookie last year and still learning. You got you got a couple of different guys on this team. Billy Turner. You got a couple of different guys on this team who are serviceable, but you've got Aaron Rodgers at 38 years old. You need a left tackle.
Brad, sounds like they could get like 4 or 5 ones for Cam Robinson if they trade him to the Jets.
Like the Jets are in desperate need for a Cam Robinson. That's a real thing.
Well,
like they may have already spoken.
We're going with it. You know, the other thing that strikes me here, just it's hard to get a right tackle, it seems like, in the National Football League.
Well, just take your left and throw him on the right like everybody else.
Well, that's why you've seen so much cross-training. But I think that's also why a guy like Jawan Taylor had so much value.
Yeah.
Right? Coming out. And we know there's a lot more value placed on that position from a dollar standpoint. But for years now, there's been a lot more value placed on the right tackle anyway. It used to be left tackle, and then a distant second was the right tackle and how it was viewed.
Side, yeah.
That's not really the case anymore with all the passing going on and everything else and the movement of the quarterbacks. But that right tackle spot, and really any offensive line spot, still hard to make guys that can move at 300-plus pounds that don't have injuries.
Yeah.
Mekhi Becton.
Next one's from ML Football. This is one of the stories that really isn't getting talked about this year in the NFL, and I think it's a sneaky, interesting one. You guys may remember John Gruden, last in the NFL with the Vegas Raiders, was tossed out of the league after a controversy surfaced with his emails that leaked. And so Gruden sued the league. Mm-hmm. That lawsuit's still going on, by the way. But at the beginning of the season, when the Saints got Derek Carr, Dennis Allen and the boys brought in John Gruden as a consultant. And so at first, I think the story was, well, you know, Carr in a new offense, he works well with Gruden. Maybe Gruden can help him a little quarterback school. But he's still there. He's still working for the Saints. We're like 2 months in now. So here's the ML Football tweet/X. Interesting. Despite former Super Bowl winning head coach John Gruden wanting to, quote, burn down the NFL's house, end quote, with his current lawsuit against the league, he's still going to be around the league and in a consulting role for training camp on Friday, helping his former quarterback, Derek Carr, via the New Orleans Saints, per Jeff Duncan at Pro Football Talk. So here's my question for you guys. Do you see a path for Gruden to return to the NFL? Is that door open in a way that maybe it wasn't 4 months ago?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it was 4 months ago or not and what changes here, but I think there probably is more of a path than people think because all you have to do is look what happened here in Jacksonville. Urban Meyer, did you ever think Urban was going to coach again or would he be at a path in the NFL? Like, he got one. He got a chance. Like, there are guys get chances. And as the distance grows between the emails and that saga and everything else, people forget, and then there's a press conference, then there's criticism, and then it's like, okay, coaching. And if he wins and he's going to help us win, even fan bases will sign up for it. I mean, we see it most recently with Deshaun Watson from a player standpoint, and I hesitate to say people aren't going to get another look now. I just think he could. I'm not saying he will, but I think he could. It is an interesting dynamic that he is suing the NFL and still, like, working with the team right now. But the difference there is he's not suspended by the NFL. He got fired from his job, so it's not like he's suspended. The NFL didn't ban him. He's just suing them.
And by the way, not the first guy to sue the NFL.
Flores the same way.
Flores is working in Minnesota right now.
And he's got a job.
Yeah.
And they're paying him. I don't even know if they're paying Gruden, but Flores actually has a job while he was suing.
I find it hard to believe Gruden would take a consulting gig for free, but Case...
Well, he was making $10 million a year. He's got plenty of it.
That's fair. Case, if you're Gruden, if you're Dennis Allen, head coach of the Saints, are you sweating?
No.
The seat in your BMW truck isn't hot?
Yeah.
Nah, you're sweating because you probably shouldn't have got the job anyway. So, like, not because of Gruden.
You got this Hall of Fame level coach standing right behind you trying to fix his relationship with the league?
Nah, like...
His favorite quarterback under center?
I wouldn't be worried about it because John Gruden's not going to be their coach. The only way that something like that happens is he's mad at the NFL. So, like, there's going to have to be some sort of cover-up of sorts. He's either going to be like, oh, never mind. the league's going to be like, nah, we won't put out those emails.
The apology is in the money. They just got to settle. They'll settle the lawsuit with him. They'll pay him off $10 million, whatever he's asking for. They'll give him half or something, and then it's a done deal.
That'd be great, because then we know there's some real dirty stuff in it.
Oh, there's so much dirty stuff.
And then we need Dan Snyder to come out and be like, hey, what happened, bro?
Let me get you guys one more before we go to break.
All right.
Ryan Clark. One play, 10 yards. What 3 NFL quarterback, wide receiver, tight end duos are you taking? Basically, give me a quarterback and either a wide receiver or tight end that you're taking.
Obviously, Mahomes and Kansas
One
City
play,
are
10 yards. He's got Burrow and Chase at number 1, Mahomes and Kelsey at number 2. You're not looking at the X.
By the way, I would have
Casey
flipped that. I would have put Mahomes and Kelsey 1.
I think I see that, but there's no way that's what it says.
Give me your third. Think about it for a sec.
I would
You ain't going to guess it.
Well, he doesn't have to. Just give me your third.
My third, I would lean Josh Allen and Diggs.
It's a decent choice. Here's what Ryan Clark said. One play, 10 yards. What 3 NFL quarterback, wide receiver, tight end duos are you taking? Leave your bias at the door. He's going Burrow Chase, number 1. Mahomes Kelsey, number 2.
This is reckless.
Trevor Ridley, number 3. The national folks are firmly affixed to the backseat of the bandwagon. Let's go.
There's a lot of options there. A lot of options. How about
Trevor
Jalen
Ridley
Hurts
is the
and
third option. Not
A.J.
a lot
Brown,
of options.
right?
One option right there.
Pretty good. By the end of the year, we might not be. You think that's reckless? Why reckless? That's not reckless. I thought we were going to go like Geno Smith and Lockett or something when you said
Smith
reckless.
and Jigba.
They've never played together.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but you still believe in their ability to get 10 yards.
I get it. They've never played together.
One of the most accurate passers in the league, one of the best route runners in the league, who's also fast with killer hands.
It took them 15 weeks for us to realize that they kind of had an unspoken thing between him and Christian Kirk. So week 1, that's your third choice?
Casey,
Come on.
it's probably a good argument, but here's the bigger thought there.
Yeah.
Is that a guy like Trevor Lawrence, in some people's minds, is mentioned with the Burrow and Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And Calvin Ridley, before he left the game for a bit, was mentioned in the ilk of the Chases and Kelseys as pass catchers and everything else. Like, he was getting there. So the Jags have those guys. Now,
I don't disagree.
They got by the middle of the year, we might know a little bit more on both, and then you definitely would put them in the list, or maybe number 1 on the list. But I would have a hard time putting them number 3 on that list right now, given what else is happening around the league and what else has been proven around the league. To Casey's point, it's a fair one. We've never even seen it in a real game on Sunday.
Putting a wet blanket on all my Friday vibes.
No, I love it, man. That was
Justin
great.
Jefferson's like, I still play, right?
Yeah, but he plays with Kirk Cousins.
Exactly. That's even better.
Brent Friends on ESPN 690. We put a bow on the show with a review. Not of the show, but of something.
Of something.
Maybe this is when the embarrassing moment happens here on the show.
Maybe.
If it already hasn't. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton on deck. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp tonight as well on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet. Now open in St. Augustine.
Hot, hot, hot. Can you believe this weather out there? Hi, this is Stan Nagel for Energy Seal Foam Insulation, reminding you that you're burning up. Do something about it. Spray foaming your attic with Energy Seal really works.
Call 888-306-3626 for 20% summer savings. EnergySealJax.com.
The kids are the latest in the Martineau household to get a car from Nimnick Buick GMC. That happened back in December. They absolutely love it, and they're having a fantastic summer. Hope you're having a fantastic summer. And if you're in car shopping mode, you know where to go. Nimnick Buick GMC. You can try them out at nimnickbuickgmc.com or check them out and what's on the lot on Phillips Highway. Also, if you're looking for a used car, plenty available under $18,000. It's the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville, nimnickbuickgmc.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
2 roads diverged into a steamy, hot northeast Florida summer. One road led to a home AC system that's unreliable and inefficient. It was fated to fail swiftly. The other road led to a home that's efficiently and dependably cool. Its AC was a mechanical marvel, destined to be a lasting refuge against summer's scorching siege.
Time to take the road most traveled by your neighbors for over 60 years. Hammond Air Conditioning. Hammond is North Florida's most trusted authority for air conditioning services. And with Hammond, your home is never a learning opportunity for inexperienced techs. Hammond's veteran specialists understand how to make a system operate perfectly in our Northeast Florida heat. And they know how to extract all the potential from a modern high-efficiency system. That means they'll design a system perfect for you, one that fits to the temperature you want and will save you money money on your electric bills. Right now, get a brand new high-efficiency system for as low as $70 per month, and that's with a 10-year warranty. Go to HammondAir.com.
Meet Mike Lester.
The downsides to a 401k are limited investment options. What we'll find, and nothing against anybody who's doing it. Listen, if I wasn't an investment advisor, I might even be doing the same thing. But lots of target date funds. We don't like the target date funds because they only take into consideration the date. They don't take into consideration anything else. So target date funds are sort of an easy way to invest, but I think they give investors in retirement plans a false sense of security.
Find out more at guardingyournestegg.com.
Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder? Maybe it's pain in your hip or back. Don't let them tell you steroids and surgery are your only option. Take my advice now and call QC Kinetics and get a free consultation. 904-274-5522. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all natural, advanced regenerative medicine. They're helping people here every day with these amazing natural treatments that restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It's like turning back the clock. Oh, that would be nice. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body to stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they are supposed to. And there's zero downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting medical breakthrough. Patients here are getting real lasting relief and are saying no to surgery and no to drugs. If you have pain due to injury or arthritis, this is a remarkable option that you need to check out. The consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522, and Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, 904-274-5522.
What's your name? Leonard Skinnard. Live in concert. Second show added by popular demand. October 5th at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Celebrating 50 years of Leonard Skinnard. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/
the right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. All right, it's review time for Aaron Schachter. He did the one-word review. The open was terrific. The review was meh.
Meh. Literally, the review was meh. The one-word review was meh.
I did like the open, though. What do you got for us now?
Now, as long as Case is ready, I will give you a more lengthier, robust, thorough review. And I chose something, since we did a sports thing the first time around, I chose something that was non-sports. And it is bananas. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about bananas. You know, those curvy, yellow, nature-wrapped wonders that have been a part of our lives since, well, forever. Now, I gotta say, bananas are like the comedians of the fruit world. They're always pulling these hilarious stunts, like pretending to be a phone, just waiting for someone to pick them up and start a conversation.
Ring, 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 banana phone.
And don't even get me started on their wardrobe. I mean, who else could rock that bright yellow look and make it seem so appealing? That's a pun, Case. But let's talk about the real magic of bananas. Their timing. I swear, bananas have this uncanny ability to go from perfectly ripe to creepy science experiment in less time than it takes Zach Wilson to throw an incomplete pass to his left guard.
Blow the whistle, blow the whistle, blow the whistle.
It's like they have a sixth sense for knowing exactly when you're about to crave a snack, and then bam, suddenly you've got a banana that's got more spots on it than Frangie. And you know what's truly bananas? The versatility of these things. You can slice them, dice them, mash them, slam dunk it, stick it, flip it, and ride.
That B-O-O-T-Y, oh my.
I knew these two lamos wouldn't get the tag team reference. But I digress. Let's address the elephant in the room. The weirdos who peel the banana from the bottom. I mean, it's like the fruit version of the toilet paper over or under argument, except people who peel from the top are right, and people who peel from the bottom should get eye warts. Let's just agree that no matter how you peel it, bananas are still a first-round pick of the fruit kingdom.
With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Banana Phone.
Whether you're slipping on a banana peel in a classic comedy routine, or you're just munching on one as a quick pick-me-up, let's give a round of applause to the real MVP of fruits, the banana. They're nature's punchline, a snack, and an accessory to all, rolled into one. We salute you, banana. Job well done. There it is.
That's amazing.
That's a review.
That is a review. People are
for the banana.
Rushing to Publix and Winn-Dixie right now.
Don't slip. Very slippery.
Kasey, surprising about that review? One thing.
Which thing?
What thing?
Which
no
part?
Savannah Banana mention.
Oh. I did forget the Savannah bananas.
Beautiful writing, too.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Which writing was your favorite part? If
you're
you had
asking
to pick.
You're asking
I'm
Brent
asking Brent.
or me?
How
I'm asking
long
Brent.
does it take you to do that? Can we give you a topic next week?
Yeah, give me a topic. That's fun.
How about that?
Yeah, box me in a corner, fellas. Let's
That's right.
go.
So we got non-sports review and one-word review.
Let's do it.
I like it.
Give me topic.
Well done. Extending you to the weekend in style. Enjoy the bananas, everybody. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton up next.
Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Duval!
Have a good night, everybody.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
There are 16 spots in the playoffs and just one track left. Well, not just any track.
We're basically going to have to win.
Daytona. A last chance to keep playoff hopes alive.
1 point to the good.
And for fans to experience an event unlike any other. Yeah! NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 25th and 26th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Jay is a foodie and a chef.
I'm a food truck owner with dreams of something bigger.
And at Community First, we get that. And we get you. We were founded over 88 years ago to help members live their best lives by providing the financial services they need. Today, that includes digital banking, great rates, and local decision-making. So just be yourself. At Community First and on the go. Learn more at communityfirstfl.org. Member NCUA.
Government Mule performing the hits. Plus, a very special Dark Side of the Mule set featuring Pink Floyd classics. The Mule. An audio and visual spectacle. Government Mule. Saturday, October 14th at St. Augustine Amphitheater. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Government Mule.
Hi, this is Stan Nagel for Energy Seal Foam Insulation. Do you have a metal building that you're burning up in? Call us today and let us fix it. Call Energy Seal to have spray foam insulation applied to your metal building. 888-306-3626. EnergySealToday.com. 888-306-3626.
Gain presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer lasting scent.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Super Start battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tuning into the baseball game, monitoring the incoming storm, catching your favorite talk show. These are just a few of the reasons more than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month. And did you know AM radio is the backbone of the emergency alert system? It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Cowboy boots are more than functional. They're works of art. At Boot Barn, we see a cowboy boot not only as a symbol of the West, but also as a unique masterpiece. Corral designs their boots with artistry in mind. From striking laser-cut inlays to Western embroidery, their handcrafted boots are dedicated to artistic craftsmanship for cowboy boots made to be worn and collected. Corral Boots at Boot Barn.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting Anthony Davis will sign a 3-year, $186 million max extension with the Lakers. It's the biggest annual value extension in NBA history, averaging $62 million a year. Our Pete Thamel reports Oregon and Washington are finalizing a deal to join the Big Ten next summer. Thamel also reports Utah and Arizona State have applied to join the Big 12. Will the Pac-12 survive this? ESPN's Adam Rittenberg.
There's going to be more meetings. There's going to be more discussions. There's negotiations going on, maybe between some schools and multiple leagues in the case of a school like Oregon. And then we'll see where this thing shakes out and how long it takes to reach some type of resolution.
Adam Rittenberg. The Big 12 is also ramping up talks with Arizona State and Utah. Chiefs defensive end Charles Omenihu and Seahawks wideout D. Eskridge each get 6-game suspensions. Saints running back Alvin Kamara and Colts corner Chris Lammons each get 3 games to start the season, violating the personal conduct policy.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Hello. How are you?
I just found out what Beaver Palace was.
Congrats.
Not what I was thinking.
Happy Friday.
Gotta be real with you.
Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton, ESPN 690.
A little bit of a letdown.
We continue on. You're sick, man.
A little bit of a letdown.
The championship rounds. Are you wearing the belt?
I am wearing the belt.
I feel like you haven't worn the belt in a while.
No, I've worn it.
You have?
You were gone on a well-deserved vacation.
Ah.
Okay. Been wearing it.
The championship rounds on a Friday. That is the sound of, if you're on AM radio that you didn't hear. If you're on the stream or somewhere else, that was Brian Middleton pounding his championship belt. That one might have came through AM radio, potentially. It's hard to tell. Anyway, we're here until 7 o'clock, Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. After that, as they are in Memphis on Central Time, so you're looking at an 8:05 Eastern first pitch. No Jumbo Shrimp last night because of the Hall of Fame game. That was riveting, boy. Did you see the Zach Wilson pass?
I know, right? The one pass. And I did see it. I caught it in real time.
So did I. Isn't that crazy? Because we both said we weren't going to watch.
Yeah, not at all.
Caught it in real time.
I was like, uh-oh, QB controversy.
I saw the ball in the air, and I said, oh, and then I was like, he's definitely overshot him. And then the receiver came into view. I'm like, nah, he's open. And then he caught it. Like, you got to think about that part, too, because, like, I'm like, I don't know who caught the ball. But I knew it wasn't Garrett Wilson,
something.
Corey Davis, right? So, like, part of me is like, ain't no way Zach's going to drop it in the bucket. They're not going to catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. That's the only play I saw, though. Like, legit, I saw 8 plays, and that was one of them.
Yeah, I saw that, and then I tuned back in for DTR.
Yeah,
a little bit.
DTR.
And I was like, bro, you know.
You remember when I wrote that article?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he
I was
one
right.
of your mock draft guys.
I was right. This guy's a problem for the league.
I see why he gets injured, though.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing blocks at 173 pounds. Like, we appreciate your
DTR, boy.
Your energy, but man.
Man, I like this guy. I like DTR. I told you. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is the player, the backup, technically the double backup for Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. Kellen Mond was in there, goofed around, threw an interception. They put DTR in. Boom. All of a sudden, the Browns cover the spread.
It felt like depth chart might be making some movement up in Cleveland.
Oh, he's starting next week. He's easily starting next week for
that
the
didn't
Browns.
look good.
There is no
Mond
doubt.
at all. Yeah.
Listen, backup for the Browns, not the worst position to be in. That's all I'm saying. Who knows?
Okay.
Who knows what's going on there with Deshaun? It seems like there's always something. But
like what?
That's something. But I'm a big believer in your backup quarterback should try to play the game as close to your starters. So what I mean by that is, I think if the Ravens' backup was Chase Daniel and Lamar gets hurt,
okay,
you can't possibly do anything there. The offense is built around Lamar and his legs and his ability to move. And if your backup quarterback is not mobile, then your whole system is goofed. You see what I'm saying there? So I think that's why they've had Tyler Huntley. I think that's why they had Trace McSorley in the past, Robert Griffin III, right?
Right.
I'm a big believer in that. So Dorian Thompson-Robinson does play a similar game to Deshaun Watson. We don't know if he can do it in the NFL. There's that. He looked pretty okay last night against backups against the Jets, but he fits that system better than Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond was not mobile at Texas A&M.
And it didn't look good.
It did not look good.
Let me reiterate that. It didn't really look good. First preseason game, I get that, Kasey, but I was like, okay, all right. Turn it away now.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
So big day for DTR. He also hit the over on his rushing yards prop, if that's something that interests you.
Big day for Zach Wilson or no? Just making that one pass right there.
I mean, it is certainly better than it could have been. If that was, because here's the thing. If you are going to attempt a 50-yard bomb, there's a whole lot of scenarios where it doesn't go well if you're Zach Wilson. If that ball lands out of bounds, it would not have been a good day for Zach Wilson. You see what I'm saying? If that ball gets picked off, that's not a good thing for Zach Wilson. If it doesn't get completed because dude dropped it, you're fine. But, like, there's a lot of scenarios where chucking the 50-yard ball downfield when you couldn't complete a play for inches last year. Remember, they went inches per play? And he's dialing up 50-yard bombs. Listen, I'm not going to over-dramatize it because it's the first preseason game. But I think it was a good day for Zach. I think the confidence goes up. Hey, I still can do this. I'll see you in 2 years when I finally get a chance to play in the regular season. So, I mean, he didn't lose anything. That was good.
when he's playing for the Commanders. I tell you this much, though.
Probably.
You say he would have been fine if the receiver had dropped the ball. I think so, but the fact that receiver is Malik somebody. I should find out his last name.
I got you.
That the fact that he caught the ball, and you're right, he didn't overshoot him. He basically caught him in stride, but the receiver had to extend. It wasn't just a perfect
Malik Taylor.
Taylor. It wasn't a perfect catch. So the receiver helped himself out and Zach Wilson out a bit if you go back and look at it again, which I don't implore anybody to do. But if you just want to look at the catch again, he almost stumbles a little bit, extending for it. I've seen receivers drop the ball doing less. So the fact that he was able to do that, and then I go back and piggyback what you said, Kasey, I think that helps out Zach Wilson's confidence. Even if that was the one main play he can point to, I can do this. I'm Trevor Lawrence light. Okay, I'm the next one after him, and I'm just as, well, I don't say just as good, but I'm supposed to be in this league. New York Jets fans, I'm here.
Little follow-up to the career of Malik Taylor, who spent the first 2 seasons in the league as a Green Bay Packer. No surprise.
Wow. Who didn't?
Who didn't at this point? If you're on the Jets, you likely have some connection to the Packers.
Jeez. All right.
He caught 5 passes for 60, or I'm sorry, he caught 7 passes for 80 yards and a touchdown in his career from Aaron Rodgers. And now he has 1 catch for 50-something yards in the preseason from Zach Wilson. Good throw, though, boy. So, that's pretty much what we got on the Hall of Fame game.
Cool.
It happened. Football was played. Zach Wilson was in there.
Dorian
Thompson Robinson was cooking. Did I like what?
Did you like that DeMarcus Ware?
Yeah, we do have to talk about that.
Tread lightly. I don't know what that exhale means.
All right. So if you didn't see this,
okay, go ahead.
DeMarcus Ware made the decision before the Hall of Fame game, before being enshrined in the Hall of Fame, to sing the national anthem for the game.
One to 10, Kurtz. 1 to 10. What do you give him?
Okay. I thought he was kind of cooking for a second. I was like, I'm watching it, I'm listening to it, and I'm like, all right, Twitter's going to be ruthless, but all right, he's doing his thing. He probably shouldn't go on social because he ain't great, but he's not horrible. But the man just kept acting like he was singing for his life, doing the hand motions and the pauses. And I'm like, DeMarcus, bro, you're not helping yourself. Like, you are not singing good enough to be acting like Beyonce up on the stage, bro. That's all I'm saying. He's trying to give a Tony-winning performance in Broadway. I really don't think it was awful. Like, Amanda was ruthless. I'm going to be real with you. You
suck.
Like, that's basically what Amanda was saying. I was like, man, you going to say that to his face, though.
But
so without the motions and the movements, I thought he got at least a 6.
Wow. Look at you. Look at you, Kasey. On a scale from Fergie to Whitney Houston, you gave him somewhere closer to Whitney Houston than Fergie.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I do.
I would just say this part about that. You're right. Social media was ruthless.
Yeah, it was not good.
I just think that, man, when you have the guy, it escapes me now, who sung at the Super Bowl?
Chris Stapleton?
Yeah. When you got that performance.
And the very next one.
And the next time you hear anything from the NFL singing the national anthem. But just like, ooh. Yeah, we got to keep that in the preseason. Hey, but you know what? That man's a 1% of 1%er. He takes chances. Good for him. Somebody was just like, you know what? This is endearing, like you're watching your third grader at a recital type deal. Like same level of performance as well. And I cleaned that up just now. But that one right there had me laughing. I mean, he didn't sound – I don't think that the notes were off. It didn't feel –
I thought he was solid.
I feel like we could have gotten up there and sung something close to that. Maybe not as in tune the whole way through, but just as close to that. And I don't want to.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought that up because that's why I like this from DeMarcus Ware. Everybody, myself included, in your car, in your shower, wherever you be singing out loud, you think you can sing your ass off. I guarantee you believe you think you should be up there on the stage with whoever you think is a good
I could
singer.
outsung him now.
You think you should be up there with Adele and Beyonce.
Oh, you talking about people. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
where
yeah.
you think you are in your car behind the steering wheel. It's boom, 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 and you're in the middle of those two, right? We can't sing. None of us. Brian can't sing.
No,
I don't care what he
can.
says. No,
Yeah, I definitely
everybody
can.
thinks they can sing.
Nah, I can.
Everybody thinks they can sing.
I can sing better than DeMarcus Ware.
Everybody thinks they can sing.
All right, man.
But to get up there and do it.
That's a gift to be able to do it in public.
That's crazy now.
Because certain people
Think
can't
about
perform.
what that takes.
Yeah, without the stage, they can perform. But then once they get on stage, it's 30,000 people, 50,000 people watching you, and everybody's watching you, and then television cameras on you. And you know you're going to get roasted. I wonder if in his head he thought, I'm about to get cooked. I'm getting cooked right now. I'm getting cooked in real time. It's hotter in here because I feel social media right now.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for him for doing it.
You suck.
See, I didn't say that. I thought he was decent.
I'm speaking for Amanda.
Oh, okay.
YB, we do not have a soundbite. I don't want to get any more YouTube copyright strikes because I can't do one segment now because I couldn't even. Anyway, we don't have
that segment's already dead.
Yeah, man, you didn't see?
No.
Yeah, you don't go back and check those on YouTube.
I'll check it right now. I got it pulled up.
I've been trying to pull it.
It just doesn't exist?
Well, no, it just says, hey, man, it contains such and such, and you can't get to it. I could use my VPN and do it on my laptop, but that's a lot more work than just doing it off of my phone.
Yeah, they popped you, bro.
Yeah, like
they got
18
you.
times probably. Anyway, my point is.
Listen, look at, they got you. They got, AC/DC got you.
Yeah, for sure. They ain't playing
Danny
around.
and the Juniors got you. Who is that?
What? That was the one from 1957. They still
The
around?
Spin Doctors got you.
Yeah. What else?
T.I. got you.
You got to.
LMFAO got you.
Oh.
And Eli Youngband got you.
Yo, chill.
They all got you, bro.
Chill. No one's trying to make money off of this. Maybe.
Now, here's what I will say. Danny and the Juniors, the Spin Doctors, T.I., LMFAO, and the Eli Young Band, they got you, but they are not, there is no impact from you playing the songs. They're cool with it.
Yeah.
AC/DC's not okay with it. AC/DC blocked the segment in all territories. All of them. Wow.
Hey.
If you didn't see that segment the other day, it was basically music trivia that Brian used.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was less than like 60 seconds. I thought we were good for each one. No.
That is hilarious.
Not at all.
Everybody else was like, yeah, we're cool with it. And AC/DC's like, not a chance. You're going to YouTube jail.
Does Facebook do the same thing?
Yeah, I actually did get that notification. But I
Okay.
get those every day.
For what? Oh,
We
guess
use
for-
music at
yeah.
some point. Oh, boy. Dang, they really did get you, bro.
It's time to start going to what do we call it? I can't even remember what we log into for Cox Media for our music beds. I gotta start going to the high school football music beds for everything.
Yeah, I guess so.
Man.
Oh,
Anyway.
boy. So that's the Hall of Fame game. And a couple of copyright strikes on YouTube.
A couple?
Jags off today, by the way, if you were unaware, just jumping in. No
Good for
practice
them.
today. In the stadium tomorrow, though, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And some we had planned for yesterday that we didn't get to, but going off the Hall of Fame game, it kind of makes some sense. You gave me a list of Hall of Fame snubs. DeMarcus Ware not on that list, already going into the Hall of Fame. I won't even tell people about the conversation me and Brian had about that, but DeMarcus Ware guaranteed Hall of Famer, going in, and decent singer. But you gave me this list of wide receivers that did not get in. Reggie Wayne, Steve Smith Sr., Torrey Holt, Hines Ward, highlighting this list. And then another player who is, yes, a wide receiver, but when I say the name Devin Hester, you don't immediately think wide receiver. You think kick returner, punt returner, special teams. And I guess the argument here, Brian, is who's the biggest snub? Who do we think's getting in?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just start with this one because I feel strongly about this, and I think most people do. Devin Hester is a Hall of Famer. I don't really think there's any argument to it. Do you disagree?
Well, no, I don't disagree, but there must be something. There must be something there. There's an argument from somebody somewhere.
I mean, yes, but I believe last year was his first year.
He wasn't first ballot?
He was not.
No. I'm saying, well, clearly, yes. But I mean it in the sense of you don't think he was first ballot? I didn't put down.
I do. I believe that.
All the accolades. And I'm looking at anybody who makes 2 different all-decade teams and the NFL 100 anniversary team.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean I'm not the first ballot? Hall of Fame? Not first ballot? Really? What else do I have to do?
I don't disagree with you. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I think it's not close. It has nothing to do with the receiver that he was. He scored 16 receiving touchdowns, in the nicest way possible. Good for him. But this is a skill that he perfected in the kick return, in the punt return. People did it before him. People have done it after him. Nobody's been Devin Hester. And it took a while in Major League Baseball for them to put closers in the Hall of Fame because you only pitch 1 inning a night. Could you really be a Hall of Famer? The answer is yes. Mariano Rivera is the example there. There were closers before, there's closers after. There's only one Mariano Rivera. He's a Hall of Famer, as are other closers in the league. So Devin Hester, although in the traditional football sense of a wide receiver is not a Hall of Famer, there is no doubt he's a Hall of Famer because of what he did on special teams, returning kicks, returning punts. Dangerous out there. So that's where I wanted to start because Devin Hester is clearly and undoubtedly a Hall of Famer in my eyes. It sounds like you feel the same way.
I mean, Kasey, and before you go on to the next thing, one quick blurb. Here's the deal. The last 3 to 4 games, especially for the Jacksonville Jaguars, X-Factor Jamal Agnew.
Yes.
Certain point where we were like, why are you even kicking him the ball?
Yes.
That's Devin Hester for the majority of his career.
For 10 years, yeah.
Returning punts and kicks. Why are you kicking him the ball? Okay, I'm done.
You're absolutely right. And YB in the chat, with no Devin Hester, there is no Tyreek Hill. There's a part of that. There's definitely no guy like Jamal Agnew. Like, Jamal Agnew is a good example here. Jamal Agnew is probably very similar, if not a little better than Devin Hester as a receiver.
Okay.
He's an option. He's there. He can give you something on the field that's interesting. You can do some sort of trick play, interesting stuff with Jamal Agnew, as the Bears did with Devin Hester back in the day. It worked sometimes it didn't. But he was an option, and he's a certified weapon in the kick return game. So I think that's a good comparison that you brought up. Granted, Jamal Agnew has not had the career of Devin Hester. None have at that position. But I think it is a good comparison because we did get to that point last year where I have no idea why they were not punting it out of bounds every time. I have absolutely no idea why they weren't kicking it out of the back of the end zone. The rest of these guys are interesting to me because I have a big beef with the Hall of Fame. I talked about it earlier on Brent Friends. We talked about last week with the Baseball Hall of Fame is you got too many dudes in the Hall of Fame. You just do. And you're going to continue to put people in. There's continue to be players that are well-deserving of the Hall of Fame. But then there are some players that, like, you were just real good. And that's it. You was real good. So when you hand me this list of receivers, Reggie Wayne, Steve Smith, Torrey Holt, Hines Ward, what interests me, Brian, is like, to me, you can't tell me that both Reggie Wayne and Hines Ward can be Hall of Famers. Tis not close. Reggie Wayne, more catches, more yards, more Pro Bowls. Thank you. Like, they can't both be Hall of Famers. That's my problem with the Hall of Fame. Hines Ward, solid player. does not have the numbers of Reggie Wayne. Steve Smith, solid player. Don't have the numbers of Reggie Wayne. Which part of that is wrong?
Listen, the Hines Ward argument, yes, I agree with you. That was going to be my one where I'm just like, I'm okay. Let him toil a bit longer. Yeah, he was a really good player at times for Pittsburgh, especially blocking. But the Steve Smith comparison to Reggie Wayne, they actually have pretty similar numbers.
Probably isn't the right word. Accolades is the word.
Yeah,
for Steve Smith.
I'm with you on that. Please continue.
And then with Torrey Holt,
Nah, man. Nah.
You okay?
All right, so let me jump back then. I thought you were I interrupted you on the Steve Smith point, so I didn't want to interrupt too much longer. Listen, okay, so you have to remember Reggie Wayne was not a number one, and he put up amazing stats, except you got to keep things in context. Do I think Reggie Wayne deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? I guess potentially, yeah, that's fine. Do I think Steve Smith, and this might be a bit of my Carolina bias going in, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. Steve Smith was the number one guy at 5'9", like 180. Out of Utah, nobody had him doing this right here. And no, you don't make the Hall of Fame for exceeding expectations just because people thought you might be decent and you turned out to be good. But this guy was a tone setter. And also, he did just about everything except win the Super Bowl. He was Jake Del Holmes' number one target and trying to get to that Super Bowl. He was that guy trying to be the leader of a Carolina team that really didn't have a lot of football history when he got there. Yes, they also did. The Carolina also did what the Jags did in '96, making it into the AFC Championship game. But let me tell you something. As a fan of Carolina, during those time periods, as a kid, looking at Jacksonville do things, and Carolina was not making the same type of progress, I was like, what are we doing around here? So he comes in a little bit later after that, of course, in the 2000s, and he really comes into his own. He also has one of the interesting arguments I would make for him is he was a star who got severely injured, came back so well, he won that comeback player of the year. And I think when you start looking at the All-Pros and the Pro Bowls, and you start looking at, okay, he was the very best in the league at least once, in his career, I would say that he matches up very well with Reggie Wayne, and he never had a quarterback on the level of Peyton Manning, who does.
No doubt.
He did not have somebody like Marvin Harrison to take some pressure away from him, or Edgerrin James in the backfield for a time as well. This is not a knock on Reggie Wayne. You play on the team that you get drafted to. Good for him. I do think that, again, he gets into the Hall of Fame. I feel strongly about him getting into the Hall of Fame more so than Hines Ward, at least sooner than later.
You're talking about Reggie Wayne?
Yeah, Reggie Wayne.
Okay.
But Steve Smith is right there. And again, my bias is bleeding in a bit more. I can make the argument that I could see Steve Smith getting in before Reggie Wayne, but I think that Super Bowl champ on top of everything else that Reggie Wayne has is going to put him much further ahead than most people on this list, Kasey. Torrey Holt, and then I'm going to hand it back to you. Torrey Holt.
Please tell me.
Greatest show on turf. I know you were 3, I'm like 11. I remember this, okay? Again, him, Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk. It's the same energy of a Reggie Wayne when you talk about so many different, weapons. He was great, but he also had people to take away that pressure from him. Kurt Warner splashed onto the scene. Nobody saw this guy from a grocery store becoming what he became. And Dick Vermeil was the head coach, the crying coach right there, leading that team. The St. Louis Rams, they were an issue. And Torrey Holt was a reason. Final thing, and I'm handing it back to you, Kasey. Anybody who makes an all-decade team deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I don't care what decade it is. If someone's saying we only have so many spots for the all-decade team, couple of wide receiver spots, you're one of the wide receivers for that decade, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. They can't tell the story without you. That's clearly what they're saying if you're being voted on that way, in my opinion.
All right. You convinced me on Steve Smith. I just want you to know. Here's my problem overall with the Hall of Fame on the Torrey Holt point. Not, it feels like I'm a hater right now, right? Not. This is just my opinion. He was on an all-time great team.
Yes.
That does not make you a Hall of Famer. If they put everybody from the 1996 to 2001 Yankees in the Hall of Fame, you'd have to, or if you're following that rule, you have to put all them guys in the Hall of Fame. You got to put all of these Chiefs guys in the Hall of Fame. All of them. Juju got to go because he's in there. You see what I'm saying? You can't.
Go ahead.
You don't get to make these rules because you're on an all-time great team. I don't believe so. Because Reggie Wayne is similar, right? An all-time great, at least, offense, if you want to do that. But, like, outside of the all-decade team, which you actually do make a pretty solid point on, I'm not going to lie to you, Reggie Wayne's a better player statistically. He walked him in catches. He walked him in yards. He walked him in touchdowns. They both won a Super Bowl. They're both one-time All-Pro first team. One more Pro Bowl nod to Torrey Holt and then the all-decade team. But Reggie Wayne walked him. So, like, to me, that says this guy was better than this guy. And I'm not giving him that much more. I'm not giving him more credit because he was on this Rams team that was legit. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just don't. I think that's the problem with the Hall of Fame. Because maybe all these guys get in at some point. But I don't think they're all Hall of Famers. You know, Reggie Wayne is 10th all time in the NFL in yards receiving. 10th. Ain't that crazy? What's crazy is Tony Gonzalez is 6th. Boy, he was doing work. Tell you what.
No problem.
But you got guys under him that are Hall of Famers and should be Hall of Famers. But I don't know, man. I just think that the way that, one, we play football now, these numbers are going to keep piling up. You just can't put everybody in. You just can't.
Okay. You know, if that is the argument you want to make, there's going to be a lot of people that agree with you because the truths in your statement I can get with. Again, I think the context of what surrounded the team. You know what the St. Louis Rams were with Torrey Holt, who was the main guy there, and then Isaac Bruce was on the opposite side. Well, that's a little bit earlier than that. But Marshall Faulk.
Oh, Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, Marshall Faulk. But you know what they are? They are basically, hear me out, I'm not comparing the quarterbacks. I'm just saying offensively and what we have in the NFL now. They're basically Kansas City, Philly to a certain degree, that just we can throw it around to a bunch of different people. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they were able to do that and sustain that, granted, the window wasn't as long. They didn't win another Super Bowl. They lost to Tom Brady and the Patriots that next year. But having that kind of offense succeed all the way to the Super Bowl in the, I think it was, 1999 or 2000s? Yo, that wasn't a thing. You had some offenses that were great, that would toss the ball around, but not like that. They were truly, I think, in a certain sense, before their time, even though they experienced success. That St. Louis team, Torrey Holt, the kind of receiver he was, the kind of offense that was being run, that's the offense that was being run right now. And I think that that's a part of this discussion as well. When you talk about, okay, how far ahead of your time are you? And if your numbers are, granted, I know it's about 1,000 yards difference between him and Torrey Holt. They both had some injuries. Torrey Holt had a bit more in the way of injuries, during his career. I can understand why he would feel snubbed personally. I'm not saying he is. He does feel that way, but I can understand why he's on this list right now because those teams were great and he was unguardable. You talk about a Tyreek Hill, you talk about some of these guys that we've seen this past decade or right now, Justin Jefferson. I'm not saying that the athleticism was exactly the same, but the results were. and people would just be scratching their heads. They were difficult in real life. They were difficult on video games. Just trust me on that one. Torrey Holt is definitely a Hall of Famer in my book.
Agree to disagree. It's not okay anymore to just have been a great player. Like, that's the precedent that we have set in definitely baseball. I think we're getting there with football.
And basketball been there. They let everybody in.
Basketball been there.
Yeah.
So, it's just not okay to be a great player anymore. You got to be a Hall of Famer. That's just not how this works. Not everybody is great. One of the foundations of this show is when Brian told you some of y'all been at your jobs 20, 30 years, still garbage. Right?
It's true. It's true. Trash.
Not everybody is great, man.
Landfill.
Not everybody's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You can be great and not be a Hall of Famer. You can be a legend to your team and the history of the team in which you played for. Not a Hall of Famer. But damn, they love you in St. Louis or Los Angeles, wherever. You see what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, Kasey. But
now I will flip this argument though. If you bring up Fred Taylor, I'm like, nah, he's a Hall of Famer, bro. Don't try me.
He is.
I know. I'm just saying, but in that,
there's going to be more people. It's not like they're letting in 15 people a year. The more that the NFL is around, there's going to be bunches of more people. That's just the way that this works.
Think about someone you think is great right now in the league. Not unbelievably fantastic. Not Justin Jefferson. Somebody that's great. They probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. Whoever you thought of is probably going to be a Hall of Famer. That's how this works, especially when we get there. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. We got a break. We went way long.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly cloudy this evening, an isolated shower. Overnight, we drop down to the mid-70s. An isolated shower on Saturday morning. Partly cloudy, a few afternoon thunderstorms develop. Hot and humid, though, in the lower to mid-90s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. For a limited time, get 5 years, 0 interest, only at Beards Diamonds.
Hot, hot, hot. Can you believe this weather out there? Hi, this is Stan Nagel for Energy Seal Foam Insulation, reminding you that you're burning up. Do something about it. Spray foaming your attic with Energy Seal really works.
Call 888-306-3626 for 20% summer savings. EnergySealJax.com.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE.
Main office, Jacksonville.
The kids are the latest in the Martineau household to get a car from Nimnick Buick GMC. That happened back in December. They absolutely love it, and they're having a fantastic summer. Hope you're having a fantastic summer. And if you're in car shopping mode, you know where to go. Nimnick Buick GMC. You can try them out at nimnickbuickgmc.com or check them out and what's on the lot on Phillips Highway. Also, if you're looking for a used car, plenty available under $18,000. It's the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville, nimnickbuickgmc.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
The Chief is always tracking to give you the first alert.
Get into something sturdy. If you're in a mobile home, you got to get out.
When summer season in Florida becomes storm season, put your trust in Action News Jack's First Alert Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish to warn you first.
Stop traveling, get to the side of the road, let the storm pass.
No one can get you better prepared before the next storm hits.
Take shelter right now.
Mike Burrish and the Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Team, because knowing first matters most.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Hammond Air Conditioning is North Florida's most trusted authority for air conditioning services. And Hammond has the best financing, where you can get a brand new high-efficiency system for as low as $70 per month. And that's with a 10-year warranty. Go to hammondair.com.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Hold up, you're using Swiffer Power Mop? What would Mom say?
Oh, she'd be like, a mopping bucket is the only way to deep clean your floors. And I'd be like, Mom, this is the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one that gets you a mop and bucket clean in half the time.
She'd never believe you.
I'd say, look, the solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket. And the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get into grout lines. That's why you're the smart one.
Really?
What? Mom said it.
The new Swiffer Power Mop. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN10 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code ESPN10. Use code ESPN10 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog, who found regenerative medicine years ago and became a believer.
It changed my life around. It improved me to a point where I was able to jog again.
That's when Dr. Herzog switched his focus from surgery to helping his patients with natural biologics.
I've treated at least 5,000 patients. I believe your body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I have patients coming up to me that I did 10 years ago saying, you know, Doc, my elbow's still working great. I'm playing tennis 3 days a week.
Call QC Kinetics now to explore alternative ways to deal with your pain. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Your Jacksonville Sharks are in the playoffs. Fans, pack the tank and give them the strength to fight for victory to the championship game. Get your tickets today. Call 904-621-0700, 621-0700, or jacksharks.com. Fins up.
More than qualified to handle your roof. Call J&M and we'll show you the proof. Check with our customers and they all say only one way to go, the J&M way.
We take pride in doing quality work at a fair price. And you can finance your new roof for as low as $139 per month. J&M Roofing, under the umbrella. Call 904-337-0509.
License number CCC 1331951.
What? They did not tell me they were going to do that. I need a new bank.
Well, actually, One-to-One Financial doesn't do the usual bank surprises because we're not a bank. We're a credit union. And that means lower loan interest, things like free checking and member rewards, and of course, total investment back into our community.
I'm sold.
Find a better way to bank than big banks with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit 121fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
All right. Here's the deal.
Before you go.
Okay.
Before you go, everybody, I tried to talk them off the ledge of doing this. I tried to. All right, Kasey, floor is yours.
All right. I would like to say before I start that I appreciate anybody listening to the show. And if you've been here for a bit, appreciate it. If you're new, appreciate it. Some of you may never come back after this.
Oh, boy.
But I also want to say I speak for Kasey Kurtz, not Brian, not Brent, not Aaron, or anybody else that works here. There are people right now that are like, what is he about to say?
Yeah.
On the YouTube chat, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, by the way, you can watch the show. Fire God Flares. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man.
We hope you're here next week as well, but I understand you may not be after this. Comments after our conversation about Hall of Fame wide receivers. And says, so is Jimmy Smith not a Hall of Famer? ? SMH. Nope. He is not. Huh? It is exactly what we just did in the last segment. To me. I don't speak for anybody else. I speak for me. Legend for the team? Check. Fan base loves him forever? Check. It is enough to be a legend for the team in which you played for. And we argued about this in commercial, but I'm going to bring it up here. We just basically said last segment, Hines Ward is not a Hall of Famer. Correct? Brian?
No, you messed a couple of words around. I didn't say that specifically. I said I'm fine with him not being in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. So if you are fine with that is what you said. If you are fine with Hines Ward not being in the Hall of Fame, then you have to be fine with Jimmy Smith not being in the Hall of Fame for his 200 less catches than Hines Ward, for his 20 less touchdowns than Hines Ward, for his less Super Bowl than Hines Ward, for his less Pro Bowls than Hines Ward. Listen, man, I get it. It's an emotional time for this to happen on this radio program. But it's okay to be a legend for your team, a great player, as he was, but not a Hall of Famer. That's how I see it.
I just want to make sure, I want to get it on record one more time. Jimmy Smith is a Hall of Famer or isn't a Hall of Famer?
Is not.
That's it.
Thank you for listening to the show.
That's it.
According to YouTube, nobody left.
It's not bum music, by the way.
Thank you, YB.
What did YB say? Hold on.
YB said he was a great Jaguar, but not Hall of Fame. I'm with you, Kasey. Thank you. But that's okay. That is okay. Like, see, this is an unfair question to ask Brian because his favorite player is LeBron James. Like, we did this a little bit last year. Me and Brent, Monday Morning Madness. We did a whole segment on if you could buy a Jags jersey right now of anybody that was not Trevor Lawrence, whose jersey are you buying? And we had answers of everywhere. Tyson, Wingard, Josh Allen, Trayvon, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. There were answers everywhere from everybody. A lot of the time, when you reflect, like one of my favorite baseball players of all time is Will Myers. You ever heard of him? Probably not.
Good rhetorical or no? You asking me? You asking the people out there?
I'm just
okay. I'm sorry.
You
Go ahead.
don't
Please
know.
continue.
Good player. I liked him. One of my favorites. Not a Hall of Famer. Not a legend. That's okay. That's usually what happens. Like, sure, you're attached to the Trevor Lawrence. You're attached to your quarterback. You're attached to all-time Hall of Fame players, but you're also attached to your favorite players that are usually pretty good, great at times, not always Hall of Famers. That's just where we are, man. It's cool. He can be your favorite player. Great player for the organization. Both of those things can be true. But it can also be true that he's not a Hall of Famer.
Spirit of Jimmy Smith. Better watch your mouth.
That was me knocking over a Lysol bottle.
Yeah, okay.
Going back to 2020 in here, apparently, with all the Lysol.
I started the music early. I don't know.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Winners and losers. MLB trade deadline just wrapped up this week, Kasey Kurtz. Got a list of some of the winners and some of the losers. Want to get your thoughts on it, okay?
Let's do it.
Let's start with the Los Angeles Angels as winners, okay? They made some changes. We thought that maybe Ohtani was going to be out of there and it was going to be a restart for the Angels, but they said no, that's not what we're going to do. They brought in CJ Cron and, hey, man, I can't even say his name, Randall Grichuk.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And now they are, in the hunt for their first postseason berth since 2014. Kasey Kurtz, do you agree that they're a winner or a loser after the trade deadline?
They are certainly losers, so I do not agree.
Oh, yeah, I got a sound. Hold on. Here we go. Wow.
This team stinks. I don't understand why people don't. The Angels are not good. They have two of the best players to ever play, and that's it. Randall Grichuk's been on like 8 teams in 3 years.
Okay.
I mean, if people wanted him that bad, he would stick on somebody's team. Let me give you an idea of what happened to the Angels last night after making these moves. The Angels led 3-1 in the last inning. An inning or a game in which Shohei Ohtani threw 4 shutout innings. He also hit a home run. Scored a couple of runs. They got walked off in the last inning on a grand slam. Like, this team can't get out of their own way.
Okay.
You had the chance to rebuild everything in your farm system, and instead you gave up prospects for mid-tier players that you thought would help anything. After the loss, they're down to 4th in their division. They're not better than the Mariners. They're not better than the Astros. They're not better than the Rangers. They're barely better than Oakland, who's like the worst team to ever play the sport. It's just, it's funny. Like, I don't care about the Angels at all. At this point, I kind of want them to do bad, to be honest with you, because I'm just annoyed about all this crap. Ohtani will leave. The Angels will be garbage for 10 years. They'll probably sell the team, move to a different city, all that stuff.
All right, let's get a couple more in. Another alleged winner, the Texas Rangers. They spent $700 million in free agency over the last 2 years, man. Been big in the trade market, too. Let's see, they grabbed Jordan Montgomery, Chris Stratton from the Cardinals, and, of course, Max Scherzer from the Mets, and maybe some other guys as well. Do you agree, Texas Rangers, winners in free agency? I'm sorry, winners after the trade deadline?
I do. I think Max Scherzer, although old, is still a problem for the league. They gave up a lot to do all of those things. They gave up massive prospect for Scherzer. But the Rangers have not been good in a very, very long time. Since Josh Hamilton, Nelson Cruz, Adrian Beltre were in their lineup was the last time they were good. And to tell your fans and your team that you're all in when you're still in first place in the division, you're nearly 20 games over 500. And the one thing about the Rangers is they spent all that money, a lot of it on DeGrom, who got hurt. They got the bats. They got Seager. They got Simeon. They got Garcia in the outfield. They can hit. Nate Lowe. There's plenty of guys that can hit on that team. They had no arms, and they addressed it, and they went and got Montgomery and Stratton and Scherzer, who are all pitchers if you don't know. So they made smart moves. They paid good price for the guys that they got, but I think it's exactly what they needed to do. I believe in the Rangers.
Final one, really quick. Baltimore Orioles, alleged winners. They traded away some guys, and they picked up Cardinals starter Jack Flaherty. Close enough. Baltimore Orioles, winners or losers after the trade deadline?
Winners, because the teams that are behind them didn't do anything. The Rays were sitting there watching everybody else get better. They traded one of their best prospects for a pitcher that may be okay in the mid-tier of their rotation. So they looked at the other teams around them who didn't really get better in their division. They're good. They still have prospects that they can call up to make an impact. And Jack Flaherty is a interesting guy because he's been hot, very good, the highest of highs, and then he's been very bad. He was good last night in his debut for another win. The Orioles are legit. I was wrong when I said they weren't. The Orioles are legit. They're the best team in the American League East, in front of the Rays, in front of the Blue Jays, and they're a top 3 team at minimum in the American League right now.
All right. And just really quick, we're wrapping that up, but Flares is back in the chat. Cooking with facts. All he's doing is cooking with facts. I see you out here, Flares.
Yeah, I lose interest after the first sentence because I just debated it. So you can't say he's a Hall of Famer, no debate, even though I just debated it. But whatever makes you happy. I also would rebut more, but I only have 10 seconds in the show, and I have to tell you that the show is over. For Brian Middleton, I'm Kasey Kurtz. Have a great weekend, everybody. I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask?
What's your name? Leonard Skinner.